Big news. I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Brought to you by J. Michael Fashion for everyone. Let's get our headlines from Cayman Marl Road this morning. Good morning, Sandy.
Hey, good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing today? Happy Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's nice.
Yep, sliding right into the weekend. Okay, so the revitalization project continues in what they're calling the Central Business District of Georgetown. So that committee, the Housing and Infrastructure Central District Enhancement Project, it's a mouthful, scheduled to commence on Monday, the 25th of September. This is the next phase that we're going into now. It includes the reconstruction of the intersection in front of the Georgetown Post Office. They say to create better connectivity in the area. There's also going to be significant upgrades to underground infrastructure on the connecting sections of Edward Street, Main Street, and Shedden Road.
All right.
So expect more construction in the area. Everyone from the NRA, CUC, Water Authority, they're going to be in there doing all sorts of work, and the work is expected to take about 7 months. If you have to travel in that area a lot, like you go to court and stuff like that, you know what that means, essentially.
Yeah.
No parking and more traffic. All right. So Mr. McKeeva Bush is in the news again for his trial, which has been delayed, as his defense attorneys are trying to prove that there is a hidden agenda against him.
Okay.
Like?
So his defense attorney, Dennis Brady, requested of the court to push it back to November. Push it back to November for the defense to try to secure emails and messages to prove that there's a hidden agenda behind Bush's arrest and charges. So no real details of who these emails and supposed to be between or who the agenda is between. But anyway, that's what he believes. And so, buying more time.
Why is he in this situation right now?
How many people?
Okay.
So the Department of Environmental Health has finally secured a conviction in court for littering. Now, this is a big deal because apparently, yes, it's the first ever conviction for littering. Can you believe it? That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
I know. It really is, because when you look around and you see all the littering, you're like, what?
I don't know how many times I'll be driving behind somebody and see them just chuck things out their window.
All the time.
It's ridiculous.
It is wild.
That's why you need a dash cam.
Yep. I've caught people on dash cam before. But this person who lives in Boddentown, West Bay, my apologies, has a house and yard full of, oh my gosh, it's deplorable. Old boats, old vehicles. It looks like a junkyard, to be honest. You can go look at some of the photos. And guess how much they were fined?
How much? $5?
Might as well have been $200.
Oh.
Okay.
So, but do they have to remove this is their yard?
Yeah, it's certainly not a deterrence.
Yeah, so $200 to move it though?
Since it's a first offense. Well, I guess,
because I would assume that you just keep getting fines if not, but what are you going to do?
Well, yeah, if you do one person like that, there's a whole bunch of other houses.
I was going to say, I have 5 in my mind right now.
You got some on your street.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Driving all the way down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely ridiculous, to be honest. All right, let's go ahead and end on a bit of good news. Congratulations to UCCI. They have shattered enrollment records for the fall of 2023.
Great.
Fantastic. Good. Yes.
That's cool.
Yep. So they announced that they welcome an astounding 1,350 students ready for the upcoming fall 2023 semester, with hundreds of students still enrolling for classes. So congratulations to them. Expected to go up to about 1,500 students, which would be an all-time record enrollment.
That's what happens when you advertise with DMS Broadcasting.
And CMR, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. So those are your news headlines for this beautiful Thursday morning.
All right. Catch Sandy on Bobo 89.1 FM coming up. We'll see you tomorrow for the Friday headlines. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
All right, folks. Good morning. We're going to be kicking off here shortly on radio. Just give us a few seconds, grabbing some links, and then we are going to get. Oops. Then we're going to get started. So give me 1 second here. How's everybody doing today, by the way? So there's the YouTube link. Let me get the Facebook link. We got guests in the studio this morning. Okay. All righty. All right. There's Facebook. Give me 2 seconds here. What a beautiful morning.
Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio. We are still spilling the tea and committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman, live, direct, it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. How are you guys doing? Hope that everyone is having a fantastic Thursday so far. We're going to be getting straight into this here in a second. Lots of things going on this morning, but let's start off with a little bit of gratitude. Yes, something I guess we all need to be reminded of occasionally. Let's see who's with us today. And I want you to not just say good morning, but I also want a good morning and what am I thankful for today? Giving y'all a little bit of work this morning in class. Buenos dias. I got my little concoction that I'm going to be drinking in the mornings now. This is my apple cider vinegar concoction. Is this 8 ounces of water? Isn't it supposed to be 8 ounces of water, Miss Stacy? That doesn't look like 8 ounces to me, but maybe I got the formula wrong. All right. So what are we grateful for this morning? Let me hear it from you. Miss Vernita, Miss Morna, need to hear some gratitude. Marshall, good morning. Irvelyn, Miss Dean, Sonia's here. Miss Bonnie, tell me what you're grateful for. Miss Juanita Ebanks, Binks, good morning, good morning. Dorothy McLeod, we've got Senora Luis in the house. Wee Wee's here. Olivia, Keisha, Marshall. We'll talk about that. That's for sure. Miss Oline, Patricia Blake is in the house. Miss Marjorie, good morning. Okay. Miss Debbie, Aliano, Everton, Cheryl. Looks like you guys are thinking about it. Oh, good. Vicky's the first one to say what she's thankful for. So Vicky says she's thankful for life. Good morning. Yes, that's a good one. We need life for sure. All right. Let's see who else is thankful. Teus says, good morning. I'm grateful just to wake up this morning. Ooh, beautiful. Miss Marina says, good morning. I'm grateful for life, of course, Sandy. Nice. Patricia says, I'm grateful for life, my family, my friends, grateful that I'm able to be part of the Cayman Islands. Aw, isn't that beautiful? Miss Marjorie, also grateful for waking up this morning. Amanda says, give God thanks for allowing us to fare another day. Yes. Debbie says, I'm thankful for CMR. Aw, Debbie, you're such a sweetheart. Anne Marie, grateful to be alive. Miss Juanita says, thankful for life and good people that God placed in the world like you. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Juanita. Miss Nola is here. She says, good morning, thankful for life and good health. Oh, isn't that amazing? Good health, or you can't put a price tag on that. You know, as we get older, we really appreciate the good health element. But, you know, the truth of the matter is anyone at any age can suffer from illnesses and, you know, medical emergencies and stuff like that. So we really have to be super thankful that every day we wake up and we feel pretty good. Might have a little bit of aches here and there, but that's nothing to really complain about. So I feel you there for sure. Good health, super important. Lulu says, I'm grateful for good health also. Good morning to Stephanie Rankin. How are you? Marshall says, I'm grateful and thankful that I'm able to wake up in my right mind. That's a good one. And be able to make it out to work. Yes, mental health and wellness, also important. Anne Marie, buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? Keisha, grateful for the gift of life. Beautiful. I love it. Wee Wee says, thankful for you, Miss Sandy. Aw, thank you, Wee Wee. Pat, grateful for family. Those are some good ones. Have to agree with all of you on every single one of those. All right, keep it going. And don't forget, you can call in too, you know, tell us what you're grateful for over the airwaves. Miss Renita says, good morning. I'm grateful for life and faith in the Lord, no matter the pain, and a platform for CMR and you, Miss Sandy. Thank you, Miss Vernita. Miss Gabby is in the house. She says, good morning. I'm grateful and thankful for my family and supportive friends in my life. Oh, isn't it good to have good friends? Oh my gosh. What do they say? A good friend is better than pocket money any day. Tell you what, that is so true. You know, good friends will come to the rescue. They'll just be there as a listening ear. And absolutely amazing. So I had a little lunch yesterday with two good friends. In fact, big shout out to Irma and Misha. Still trying to catch up on some birthday lunches that I didn't get to do last month. But you know what? Misha said, honestly, Sandy, you get to celebrate for the rest of the year because this is the big 5-0. So I said, yeah, why not? Yes, let's do it. Good morning, Miss Barbara. Paul says, morning to the beautiful people of the Cayman Islands. What are you grateful for, Paul? Ja Rover says, good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing today? All good? Salute. Yes, we're asking people, Ja Rover, what are you grateful for this morning? So First Lady, Jayanne says that she's grateful for life, health, and for the opportunity to be a part of this platform. Thank you very, very much. Let me see. I get lots of WhatsApp messages this morning. So let's see. Okay. All right, Mr. Jerry. Good morning to Mr. Jerry. He always sends really positive messages. Every single morning, he sends me a little positive message emoji. And his little message this morning says, we are so often caught up in our destination that we forget to appreciate the journey, especially the goodness of the people we meet on the way. Appreciation is a wonderful feeling. Don't overlook it. Is that not so on point this morning? And I don't think he's necessarily listening to the radio. I think he always sends me these really nice messages every single morning. And boy, does that one hit home. Let me share it with you guys. I like this one. This is most appropriate. So definitely appreciating the people around you. So important. Good morning to Dean. Says grateful. We're blessed. All facilities are intact. And right here with you in CMR, plus my family, everybody's good. Miss Eliza, good morning. Says I'm grateful for being alive, still moving around, watching all the way from New York. Hey, wonderful. Thanks for your program. God is good to me. Amazing. Thank you. New York is in the house. Miss Rosedale, good morning to you as well. Let us know what you're thankful for. I'm thankful for being here every single morning, being in good health, and to be quite frank and honest, thankful for each and every one of you, because it's so nice to have what is a real community here on CMR. You know, we might be separated by distance. You know, Miss Elisa is saying she's all the way in New York. We've got Miss Darlene every morning who's joining us from the UK. Stephen's in the UK. A lot of you overseas, Jamaica, all over. But at the end of the day, don't we feel awfully close that we can get on here every single morning and just connect with each other and, you know, say good morning to everyone, discuss topical issues, and, you know, keep it going. So good morning. So Miss Olive saying good morning. Oh, Ja Rover, sorry. Ja says, you don't know what you don't know. And I'm grateful for this because I probably would go flip mode if I knew. He said, God is always watching over Ja Rover. Yeah. He's going to go with the ignorance is bliss mentality. I feel you there. Olive, good morning to you. Dean is just grateful. Paul says he's grateful for life and the opportunity to visit the Cayman Islands. Do let us know, Paul, when you're coming back. We'd like to see you on our beautiful island. Lavana is in the house. Lavana says, good morning. I'm grateful, first of all, for being able to wake up this morning. My mom and dad are still alive, and my family and friends. Oh, isn't that amazing? Absolutely beautiful, Lavana. All right. Good morning. Hello. Uh-oh. Not sure if they didn't mean to call us. All right. Jake, good morning to you. What are you grateful for? Jake, are you still on vacation? Are you back with us? Ms. Roselle says, I'm thankful for life. Jake be living his best life. Oh my gosh. I absolutely love it. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Miss Sandra. Good morning.
Hello, darling.
I did tell you to call me, but you never called me.
Oh, when was that?
You have look a while. You have me live right now. You don't want to stay live.
No, man, you're live. You're live and direct.
So weird.
But
man, no, I don't want to stay private.
But I'm on the radio now.
I want to talk to you private.
All right, call me after 10:30.
Okay.
All right, here. Yes, we're live, folks. Live and direct. Call me after 10:30 if it's a private call. We've got another person on WhatsApp says, I'm grateful for good health as I have family and good friends. Amen to that one, honey. Chill. Good morning. Grateful says, thankful to have an 18-year-old this morning. What? Please wish my son Javier a happy birthday. Ooh, send a photo and we'll post him up on CMR with a little birthday greeting. 18 years old. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. Wow. 18. Whew, honey child. I'm just at 7. I'm still like, where did the time go? How did we get here? Oh, I think I need to send out my links to everybody. Hold on now. Hold on. I'm thankful for remembering that I need to send out my links because just some morning I just forget. I'll be like, hello, we're here waiting on the links, Miss Sandy. All right, give me a second here now. Where did I put it? So many messages coming in this morning. It's already all the way down. So I wanted to talk about Prospect Primary a bit more today, but I tell you what, I'm still on a fact-finding mission. There is still information coming in. Parents are finally reaching out to me, which is important because I need to hear what they're saying. if you're a teacher and you want to defend what's going on at Prospect Primary, there's some kind of a logical explanation. I've already heard from some of you saying that you guys are under a lot of pressure and you're not getting any breaks and this sort of thing. By all means, give me a call, because we need to understand what's going on so that we can fix this for the benefit of our children. I don't care too much to hear too many excuses. But I also know that teachers, just like the rest of us, are human beings, and they're under an immense amount of pressure. And the truth of the matter is, we are leaving our most precious commodity with them every single day. So if something isn't working in their favor, something can be improved to help them be more productive and balance, professionals, then we need to examine what that is and get it implemented. So I'm not here to say that, we're going to be abusing teachers and burdening them in any way. Absolutely not. They're people too, and they're people in this community. So, they deserve to be treated with gratitude as well. So, Jake says that he's back now, grateful for health and strength. Child, I'm grateful for your life, Jake, because I'll be living vicariously through you. Every time I see you take a little trip, I'm like, oh, Jake is having so much fun in that pool right now. Wish that was me in California, living the good life. So congratulations, Jake, living your best life. This morning says, I'm so thankful for life and a fresh cup of strong coffee. Hey. Kurt's in the house. Kurt celebrated a birthday yesterday, so he's most thankful for life as well. Barbara says, I'm more than grateful for health, family, friends, and the many gifts of talent that God has given me. I wake up every day to see the sunrise, and I make sure to give God the glory. Thank you so much, Miss Barbara. Wonderful. All right. So it's not Red Bay Primary. It's actually Prospect Primary. My apologies. I noticed that I keep saying Red Bay Primary. I hope that's not my goat mouth now, putting that on poor Red Bay Primary. But no, it's not Red Bay. I meant to say Prospect Primary. But we're going to leave that conversation alone today, because I do have some updates, but I figure it's best if I speak on it comprehensively as like a singular update. And so there are people now who are coming forward with their stories. So Miss Charlene, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, depending on how quickly the parents get to me with what's been going on there. But let me just say that it's a lot. It sounds like that, you watch these shows about interventions, like when somebody needs an intervention. It sounds like that organization of Prospect Primary needs an intervention. And sadly, the thing about it is, it's not just that school, it's the Department of Education and it's the ministry. Intervention has to be all the way around. So Ms. Marjorie says, Sandy, what about the Jamaican teacher in the USA calling a 13-year-old boy the N-word? P.S. She is Black and he's Black. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I haven't heard this story, to be honest. But you know what I'll tell you? I was watching a video the other day with I can't keep up with these so-called reality shows anymore. I hardly have time to watch TV, to be honest. But there was a big thing in the news with you guys will know Spice and what's the other lady's name? Spice and Erica Mena, right? Where the two of them had some words. And actually, I'm going to ask Kevin to look at this video for me. I want to see if I can play this video, but I watched it, but I can't recall if it had any profanity in it. So let me just get Kevin to preview it for me. But anyway, what went down is apparently they were having some sort of a discussion. And these shows are all about fighting and disputes and whatever. I mean, I don't know why these people argue so much. Look, if I had a frenemy circle, because they're not really friends in real life, right? But even if I had a frenemy circle and that's all we did, I wouldn't be doing that, especially on TV. Like, you're bringing all this negativity into your life. It doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. But anyway, that's what sells. Like I said yesterday, y'all want the sus, you want the fighting, you want people up in each other's face, people cheating on each other's spouses. Like that's what y'all are into. And all these media outlets, all these Bravo and the rest of them, they all know that that's exactly what sells. And so there are people who are like, they're not, what do they call them? Not class B, but B class. What do they call them? They're like not really celebrities, but kind of celebrities. Like the world of reality TV has made people celebrities who really have no skill set and otherwise would not be celebrities, right? But anyway, the two of them were in an argument, and apparently I used to watch Housewives of Atlanta years ago when the crazy Puerto Rican princess was on there. Boy, she used to bring some drama and made it very, very interesting. But now it's like people like Erica Mena and Spice are on there. So apparently they were having a, tit for tat words and whatever. And Spice, who is good friends with Erica Mena's ex-husband, what's his name again? Sugar? Safari. I knew it began with an S. Anyway, so Safari, a man. And I there's something about women doing a tit for tat, but when men get into the mix, it's even more uncomfortable for me. I'm like, ooh, y'all men are so extra messy. It's just like, what on earth? Anyway, so apparently he's good friends. He's Jamaican, I understand. And he used to be with Nicki Minaj. I had to ask Stacey. Stacey gave me the update so I could get caught up on all this stuff. Because like I said, I don't watch the show, so I don't know. So apparently Safari and Spice, both Jamaicans, are really, really good friends. So Safari was telling Spice, and sometimes the best thing in life is don't bring no news, don't take no news. You know what I'm saying? You just keep it, keep it simple, folks. But when you're into the chat, and this one bringing news and that one bringing you, worse than parrots, right? So apparently a gossipy man, nothing worse than a gossipy man. Safari went and told Spice that when she had remember when she had her surgery and she almost died down in the DR, having cosmetic surgery, she did the BBL or whatever, almost died. And of course she was denying that she even had BBL and claimed it was some hernia or something stupid, but we knew what she was doing. So when she almost died, Safari was upset because, that's his friend and he was crying and whatever. And Erica must have said something like to him, like, why are you crying over this? Like, I'm married to you. I have 2 kids with you, whatever. And you don't cry about anything in our relationship. What a hot mess. She might want to check out what was really going on there. But anyway, they're divorced, so maybe she doesn't care anymore. So she was asking, why are you crying over Spice? And whatever. So I think she was not sensitive to the Spice situation when Spice was on death's door. So of course, Safari goes and tells Spice this, and that's going to create bad blood if there wasn't already bad blood between her and Erica. And that's not cool. Like, I don't know why Safari would do that. Like, sometimes you just don't say anything. Like, have you ever had friends before who don't like each other? I've been in that situation. You've got one person over here and one person over here. And it can be very difficult, especially if you're trying to do, like gatherings and stuff, because you're having to think about these 2 people who are supposed to be big adults, but yet they can't behave or whatever. As you get older, I feel like you just ignore that stuff. They don't have to talk to each other. They can be civil and say good afternoon. They don't have to engage in any more of a conversation than that. And you just keep it moving. Invite everybody to the function. So anyway, see, Marshall says Spice started it, so they should have fired the both of them. So apparently what Spice did was Spice actually said to Erica, Miss Stacy, I think Kevin's busy. Tell me if this video has any profanity in it, because y'all need to see how this went down. This is so crazy. So Spice said to Erica, because Erica was saying something about, Spice was saying, she's been a single mother for, 12, 13 years or whatever. All these struggles. And so Erica was like, so what? I've been a single mother for 16 years. Like, what's your point? So now they're trying to one up each other. Like, okay, I've been a single mother for 16 years. First of all, to both of you, nobody told you to be a single mother. Leave these jokers out in the street who all they want to do is have kids and then leave them and not support their children. Like, why are you having children with people like that? But anywho, that's a whole other situation. So, so the conversation was getting a little bit heated. And then, okay, so Miss Stacy says there's no profanity in it. All right, hold on. So the conversation was getting heated. And then, when Erica said this, I'm going to show you guys the video because I know exactly what tripped Erica off. And you know what? I can't really say that I blame Erica for being tripped because there are certain things, folks, that you don't do. You don't go after people's children in a conversation. And I don't know. There really is a place and time for certain things. And I think that, do you not know the rules of engagement? You know, it's kind of like the mafia back in the day, right? There were certain things that you didn't do. Now these criminals in this day and age, they don't have any loyalty or anything. They don't have any rules. They just do whatever. But back in the day, like, you know, with the mafioso, you know, you left people's families alone, like children and families. Oh, that's not the video? Where's the video? Where's the video? That's not it? Wait a minute. I thought that was a Spice video. Hold on, let me make sure I got. Okay, that's not the right one. All right, hold on, let me try again. All right, let me try to find the correct one. But anyway, maybe it's this one. Yeah, so anyway, she said something about Erica's child. And wow, Erica literally flipped when she mentioned, and it wasn't just about her child, but it was the implication that she's a bad mother, and that's why your child doesn't speak to you. And whoa, I'm going to show you all the video and show you exactly what Erica did here in a second. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra. How are you?
Child, I'm right here. How are you?
I'm good. Spice is only looking at acceptance. She's looking at attention. But anyways, she's irrelevant to me this morning. What I'm calling for, there's an elderly lady. She's 68, and she went to the bank. I would assume she went with the helper or the caregiver she has, and she was notified that from now on she would have to be doing all of her transactions online. What and truly are the banks thinking? This is a senior citizen. Come see what the senior citizens know about online banking. Come see this woman goes on there and make a simple mistake as to put a wrong number, a wrong 2 last digits or something, and the funds go somewhere else. You know what would happen then? The bank will come back and say it's your fault, right? Government needs to step in.
Well, we've talked about this. We've talked about this before on this show, and I think at some point all of the banks have made it clear that online banking is the direction that they're all going.
Okay, if online banking is the direction, I agree. I prefer online banking, but senior citizens, give them an acceptance, or you know what?
Yeah, well, I think most banks do try to help seniors a little bit different. So they can still go into the bank and probably sit down with someone. But, you know, I think the truth of the matter is, too, caller, it's going to become less and less likely that that's going to continue. I mean, look at it right now. If you want to travel to Jamaica, what do you have to do? Fill out your form online. Yeah. You think they care if you're a senior? You know how many seniors, listen, I have been on flights before, not just to Jamaica, but to the US and other places. And I've had Cuban people who didn't understand the form. They couldn't read English and they ask you to help them fill it out. I've had Jamaican people say, oh gosh, I can't fill out this form. Can you help me? How are those people now going to be able to fill out a form online? They're going to have to. The Jamaican government don't care. They're like, everybody coming in, there's your inbound paperwork.
And it's really sad because it's lack of humanity. They're talking about humanity. They need to help humanity in them and compassion in them, because the way the world is going right now, you might as well continue to build robots and just take people out of the way, because it's like people have no heart at all. You have a good day.
My dear. Yeah. I mean, it is definitely a balance, I think. We understand, these things in terms of that's the direction that we're all going in. But I think the caller's right. You can make exceptions up to a point. But, also one has to be cognizant of the fact that at some stage, maybe your seniors are going to have to try to learn a little bit, because there's always going to be seniors in the community, right? Good morning, caller. Uh-oh. So Marshall says Safari is just as scandalous as the women on the show. I'm trying to see, apparently the B word is in this video. I'm trying to see if Kevin can maybe remove it for me. I think they bleeped out another word. But anyway, she said, when Erica said, I've got a son, I've been doing this for 16 years. She said, oh yeah, your son that doesn't even speak to you. Woo-sa. I don't know what she said that for, because all I can tell you is, Erica grew. Remember if you've ever watched reality TV, there's certain moments that are like classics, like, oh my God, This person said, carry on. We want to continue this conversation. Y'all are so funny in the comment section. Lordy, what a mess. So yeah, so anyway, remember the one with Teresa, what's her name? Judushu, whatever, from New Jersey, when she did the whole table flipped. I think she was arguing with her brother or some family reunion, something. These people are so crazy. I've never seen such thing in my life. But anyway, when she flipped the table, that's like an iconic move in the world of like celebrity reality TV. Everybody's like, oh my God, Teresa's so strong to flip this table. Hello, I'm going to mute this because I think there might be like a B word or whatever in it. Kevin will try to take it out for me, but I just want to show y'all the nonverbal communication. Look at this. She flipped that table. I mean, she picked up the whole table and just flipped it on Safari like you would not believe. What a hot mess. So Safari then, not Safari, Erica. Safari is a man, apparently. I don't even know what the Safari dude looks like, but with a name like that, God help us. So anyway, these are the two of them arguing. There's a commentator who's commenting and all this foolishness. But yeah, she flips the table when she says, oh, you mean the child that doesn't talk to you? Listen, the mothers, we all gonna have difficult relationships with our kids. Your kids are going to go through different stuff in life. During their teenage years, they're probably not going to talk to you sometimes. You're lucky if you go through your entire life with a child where you have an amazing relationship. So this is the two of them having the conversation now, right? And this is where Spice is like, oh, your child that doesn't even talk to you, that's you doing 16 years as being a single parent. Erica did not have to hear anything else. She just must have seen red. And she just went berserk and flipped the table. And then, of course, all the people behind the scenes, the producers, everybody else come running out because they don't want them to get in a physical fight. And so what she ends up doing is she calls, there she is, flipping the table. Woo-sa. Woo. And then Spice and her fake bonky. I'm surprised she could jump up on that bonky so quickly. She got up. And this is where she's calling her a monkey. So Erica Mena calls Spice a monkey, and she says, you're a monkey, whatever. You're a blue monkey, because, with the blue hair and whatever, which I don't know what it is with Spice in these colors. But anywho, she calls Spice a monkey. So Erica actually got fired from her job on reality TV. They get paid to be on these shows, folks. And sometimes they get paid really good money. So now she has been fired from Love and Hip Hop. To be honest, I think they should both be fired. I think that, again, there has to be some rules of engagement on these shows. I do not know why Spice had to go that low. To me, that is way below the belt. That is super duper low. And so you go that low, you're going to get a table flipped on you when you start talking about people's children. And you're going to get called a blue monkey, a green monkey, every kind of monkey in the world. So, I feel it for Erica, and I think this is such an unfortunate situation. And I do think that Spice should give Erica an apology. It's quite an unfortunate situation. But you know what's even worse for me is when you see these two women fighting, and you think to yourself, although reality TV, there's no, I guess, those of us who do watch reality TV and we're familiar with some of the characters, we don't feel way about it because it doesn't matter what the show is about, whether it's Housewives of Beverly Hills. These are people who are multimillionaires, supposedly, have all kind of businesses. They live in the biggest mansions in Beverly Hills. They're driving. I saw Alejandro tell me he wants a Bugatti. They got all the cars, the Bugattis, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the Rolls Royces. They got everything supposedly that they want. They still want the fame of being on reality TV, which to me is so crazy. And then, they go out there and they argue and they get messy and they throw wine at each other. Maybe they're not going to, they all do the same thing, basically. I was going to say maybe they're not as lowbrow, but I don't even think that's true. Like I've seen them, the only difference is it's expensive, good wine. It's like the $2,000 bottle of wine that they're throwing in your face. But when it gets in your eye, it feels the exact same way, right? Oh, these people are so messy. Gabby says that they all worse than women, meaning the men, because, they're ridiculous. Marshall says Safari is just as scandalous as the women on the show. And this is how they make money. Oh, what a hot mess. Lavana says all Spice said was that her son didn't like her. She didn't say anything about her son. No, Lavana, because there has to be, again, as someone who doesn't watch the show, there must be a backstory there. And if you're not friends with someone, and I'm sure, like I said, they're like frenemies, like they kind of hang out, but they're not really friends. They hang out to film the show. How does she know anything about the relationship between Erica Mena and her son? That's because Safari over here is being messy and he's taking information to Spice about Erica and her son and that relationship. I doubt, but y'all have to fill me in because, like I said, I don't watch the show, but I seriously doubt that Erica Mena has been pouring out her heart to Spice about the problems that she has with her son. I mean, it might be something that's publicly known. There was another celebrity, I think that was the Orange County one, where her daughter and her are estranged, her teenage daughter. And I think the teenage daughter might even be an adult now. And for many, many years, they have Tamra, her and her daughter haven't spoken for years. And so that's a broken relationship, but I think when someone has a broken relationship with, that's even worse than a spouse. Like you can have a broken relationship with a spouse, ex-spouse, whatever, those things are expected to some extent, but a child, to me, a child is just off limits. Like, that child is having an issue with a parent. You don't go there. You don't talk about that relationship. You don't bring that up in an argument like, oh yeah, that because basically what she's saying is you've been doing this for 16 years, but you're a horrible mother. That's why your son doesn't even talk to you. So don't be saying you've been doing it for 16 years because you've been doing such a horrible job. My God, that's a pretty low blow. Amanda says, I agree. Spice is just too messy and seeking attention or acceptance. And, I reckon that's exactly what all of them are there for that, I suppose. But boy, they can bring out some dirt. Aliano says, ratchet, low class, logic with money. What a combination. It is sad. So now Erica's out of a job. I hope that Safari can accept some responsibility in this because he probably got to pay more child support now that Erica isn't working. So Blackberry says Spice didn't come for the child. Spice told her that her son doesn't like her. That's what she said, which is public knowledge, and that definitely didn't warrant a racial slur. Irvlin says they're just two drama queens, which I agree with completely. I don't know, boy. Well, when you don't like someone, they say something about your kid, it kind of hurts different too. So I think Erica just, she heard that's why your son don't like you. And she literally flipped. What a hot mess. Anyway, what can we do about it? We'll have to send them some good wishes and hopefully Spice will sort herself out because she's messy. Stacey says Spice need to go. She called Bambi gorilla and they did nothing about it. You see what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Either they're going to allow everybody to throw insults or nobody to throw insults. Liana says Black people shouldn't be insulting other Black people. That is a point, and it certainly makes all Black people feel a particular way who have any standards and look bad that you're calling each other monkeys and gorillas, because sometimes the people on the other side of the aisle are calling you that too, and that's definitely not acceptable. So Tina says Teresa's table flip is a classic. That will go down in reality TV history as exactly that, being one of those classic moments. Blackberry says, in any event, both women need to block Safari from their lives. Too much heat and drama. And I kind of get the feeling that, honestly, there's something going on. Anything that we know about going on between Spice and Safari, like that relationship seems a little bit weird for me. Listen, the rules of engagement, right? Once you get in a relationship with someone, whoever they have in their life, not that they're going to drop their friends for you, but if they have someone that they're like really, really close to, and it's possible that you might have opposite sex friends, you kind of backpedal on those a little bit, don't you? Just to make your spouse comfortable. I mean, don't y'all? I mean, tell me here, am I completely off my rockers? Am I not, thinking logically here? This was even the situation with me. I mean, Kevin and I we'd go like to events together, and we'd like, quite ironically, we didn't ever plan it. We would end up dressing, he'd wear a red outfit and I'd have on a red dress. I'm like, oh, we did not coordinate this, but we looked coordinated. We'd go to like fundraisers together and whatever. He's my friend. There's never been anything going on there, obviously. But, when I started dating Marlon, I introduced Marlon to Kevin. But, once you see that, okay, this is a serious relationship and we're going places, there are boundaries. But for me, I guess there were always boundaries because it wasn't ever that type of like relationship. But I think that the boundaries should exist. And sometimes the boundaries change when you actually have a significant other as opposed to being single. Like sometimes with your friends, you might go out to dinner, you might go out, whatever. Now you're in a relationship, there's certain things that maybe you used to do all the time with your friend. You either have to invite the new significant other or, I don't know, like I think it changes, So once I started dating Marlon, I'm not going to go on a trip to Miami with Kevin and stay in the same room, which I did when I was single because, I was single and I wasn't with Kevin, but you know what I'm saying? Like now it's like, oh, well, I don't want to make Marlon uncomfortable, anybody else that you're dating uncomfortable, because they might not understand the nature of, oh, we've been friends forever and there is nothing here. And it just is what it is. It's just a good friend. And, he's going to be snoring in one corner of the room and I'm snoring in the other corner and that's it. So I don't know. I think Safari is very, very messy. Jackie says these shows are rubbish to me. Imagine kids going around and thinking this is the norm. I think kids are more influenced by what they see in their own homes than what they see on TV, to be honest. And it's unfortunate, but probably a lot of kids see this kind of drama in their own family lives as well. And that's the sad part. Rosedale says Erica should have licked her in the face with that table. Rosedale is feeling, she is feeling Erica's pain. What a hot mess. Andrea, good morning. Pat says they represent everything we don't want our children to be. Well, you know what? If that is the case, then, I think you live the life that you want your kids to see for sure. They'll eventually see reality TV. Come on. And reality TV is there. Some of y'all like those types of shows. I've never watched the Basketball Wives one ever. Some of y'all like the 90 Day Fiancés, which is another hot mess of shows. So it is what it is. Blackberry says it's public knowledge Eric and her son. Spice didn't say anything new. Okay. Like I said, I haven't watched the show in many, many years, so I don't even know. They're all messy and they're all crazy. Oh my gosh. So Stacey says that there's a video that Spice made in the airport where she really went low on Erica, telling her that she has herpes and other stuff. Wow. So these two women obviously do not like each other. What? Blackberry said they used to be friends? What? What happened? Oh, those are not the kind of friends you need. Marcia says Spice knows what she's doing. She loves to say things to people and then play innocent. We have friends like that who like to try to manipulate situations. Lord. So Erica is going to be okay. She made a movie and is still acting for $500 to $1,000 a show. Not me, Bobo. They're probably making more than that, girl. You'd be surprised. And then you know what, too? It's not just the money that they make on the show, but a lot of them use that to jumpstart other things, other business ventures, businesses and stores and whatever, because then those things are featured in the show. And, listen, remember when, what's the name of the one that Kurt and, what's Kurt's wife's name? I can't remember her name now. She's really she seems like a nice person. Remember when she opened up like her clothing and accessory store and whatever, and that was like featured on the show, like the cameras would go in there. So that brings them a lot of attention for their business endeavors. What's his name again? Kurt, and they were on Atlanta. That was when I used to watch it, like when those people were on there. I have not watched it in a long time. Can't remember her name now. Rashida. Yes. Thank you so much. Kurt wife Rashida. So remember all the hot mess with them and the outside child and the cheating and the blah, blah, blah. And, Rashida has put up with a lot, it seems like, over the years. And, they have a lot of these business ventures that they kick off as a result of being in the limelight. Quite interesting. Marshall says a husband is supposed to take the wife's side and still have boundaries with their friends. Yes, or don't get involved at all. I mean, listen, I've had, in the past 10 years, some disagreement with friends, whatever. Marlon does not get involved in anything. He is like Switzerland. He don't care what's going on. He don't want to hear it. He's not into it. He don't want the friends bringing him sauce because he's going to be like, nope, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You go talk to Sandy. That's the kind of person he is. He is not into no messiness, not at all. He don't want to hear no arguments. He not having arguments with me about foolishness, and he don't want to hear it with anybody else. It just is what it is. Oh, my goodness. But, I'm so grateful for men who don't get messy. Have you ever had a man who was into all this so, like Safari? Makes you wonder about them. Something's off. I feel like something's off in this whole storyline that doesn't quite sit right. Marshall says the whole show's a mess. People like to see messy shows. That's why they're so popular. And we know that. Trust me. We know. What a hot mess. Rashida. Yeah, she's I like Rashida. What a hot mess. Anyhow, good luck to Erica. Good luck to Spice. But listen, this is the most that any of us have even talked about Spice. Let's be honest. I mean, yep, she had her little music and whatever, but her career has taken off to different levels since she's been on this show. And again, that's my point. They all do it for the recognition. And, so now her shows, I'm sure everywhere she goes and she's performing, her shows are selling out because of this celebrity status that she has as a result of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So good luck to all of them. Now, Marshall, you ever go to the ATL? I know a lot of people sort of in that like to go to ATL to party in that region. He said they would have had to be friends to know so much about Erica. Well, this is what I was wondering, or maybe Safari is just telling the woman business. Michael says your friends can become your worst enemy, for they know your secrets. If the can't fit, wear it. What? Rashida cheated too? Oh, my goodness. What a hot mess. Guess I missed a lot in the years I have been following it. Tina says Bravo has to get 30% of the businesses started and featured in the show. Yes, I did not know that. And is that an ongoing 30% or like a 30% at the beginning? Recently, there's been this whole backlash from some of the reality stars against Bravo, because Bravo is like They don't do anything but reality TV. That entire platform has been built on reality TV shows with Andy Cohen and whatever. And so some of the stars now are speaking out about what they say is less than ideal working conditions. And they're talking about how, Bravo's making so much money off of them. They got their hands in the kitty with everything ongoing. Oh my gosh. Lavana says Cardi B also started out in the show. Look at her now. Yeah, it's a lot of they get a lot of recognition, and there's a lot of money in reality TV. Now, how much you believe it, they say some of it might be scripted and whatever, but I don't know. It's a hot mess. Speaking of Caymans, of hot messes, we have our own hot mess here. Liana says, so explain why Makiva Bush's trial has been pushed back. Lord Jesus. This man is going to find every excuse under the sun to push back his inevitable trial. People talking about the traffic. Yes, there was an accident, by the way, by the Butterfield roundabout, but I don't know if that would be impacting this person, but yes. So listen, hot mess, Cayman's own reality TV show. By the way, there was a reality TV show recorded here in Cayman. It was filmed here. I don't think it had a name yet, but it had some very interesting people in it. There's a guy from Trax, Bernardo. Aaron, is it Aaron Bernardo? What's his name? Apparently he's in it. I'd like to see that. Is he featuring how the poor customer service over at Trax with the Shangang vehicles? Mm-hmm. There's Elizabeth Hurley's. I always get her name. No, Elizabeth Chambers. I always want to call her Elizabeth Hurley's, the other actress. So she's in it. She has a bakery here called The Bird. Big shout out to The Bird. I've not had any of their goodies yet. Actually, I think Paula gave me a cookie or something, but I let Gigi have it. I didn't need an extra cookie in my life. So she's in it. The Foster's kid. What's his name? Oh, God. What's his first name again? He's very tall. When I saw him in person, I was surprised to see how tall he was. Foster. Oh, Lord, this is Woody's son. I forget his first name now. Anyway, he's in it as well. And what's his name? Oh, my goodness. Foster. Julian, thank you. My gosh. Julian is in it. Who else? There's a couple people in it. Oh, Frank Schillings apparently makes a couple appearances. Like he's not one of the regulars, but he makes a few appearances about his restaurant, Mykonos and whatever. So child, the messiness is going to be coming to Cayman. Here's the most interesting thing. They've been trying to keep it very, very hush-hush. Apparently one of the people involved, like the producer, whatever, don't let Ma Road know. Because once we know, we can let y'all know what's going on in the Cayman Islands. So they didn't want us to know, but we knew anyway. And we told y'all it was posted on CMR. So they had a fight scene at the airport where one of the people in the show claims that she found out her boyfriend was cheating on her. Child, please. That would be almost everybody's story in Cayman. Cayman is so ridiculous with the cheating, and the Cayman is full of a lot of drama. I actually had a physician once, he was an OBGYN, tell me, he said, Sandy, the Cayman Islands, people here are so prolific with cheating that we actually have a very high instance of STDs on this island. And I said, what? He said, yeah, so people should be careful. Because even if the church-going wife, your church-going husband, sitting right next to you every Sunday and Wednesday on the pew is out there, having sex with half the congregation, or going to the local bars, having sex with all the imported girls. So this is a real situation here. So I think Cayman has a lot of content for reality TV show. And in fact, they could do one surrounding just Makiva Bush, and it would probably be a hit show in his sloppiness. But to answer your question, he claims, his attorneys are claiming, which I'm sure they are following his instructions. They're claiming that there is a, what do you call it now? Some conspiracy basically against him. And so I mean, it is a little bit laughable. So they want to prove that there's a hidden agenda. So they've asked for more time to get emails and stuff. This is kind of stupid. I'm going to be honest with you, right? If that is your defense, that you didn't do it, and there's a hidden agenda against you, which, okay. I don't know how the hidden agenda just totally fabricates something. I mean, it's kind of interesting. How do they fabricate you touching people and biting on people and all this kind of stuff? But whatever. That's his storyline. That's his defense. And I guess he's sticking to it. All you have to do is start the trial because, grand court, you're not getting a trial date for 6 months anyway. 6 months is more than enough time to collate whatever documents you claim exist out there. Emails, people in emails are talking about him. Let's just say hypothetically that people in emails were talking about him. How would Mr. Bush even know? How would he know that? Who would have been telling him that, I just sent an email with your name in it. We're talking about you. It's like, what? I don't know. McKeever seems a little bit, like I said, he needs his own reality TV show. He's a hot mess. He was even complaining, apparently, that, and I think, follow this logic here, because I think there's something behind this. Remember when the RCIPS, their little friend Peter Lansdowne sent an email, but, how did you know that Mr. Bush had been charged when only him and his lawyer knew? It seems like they somehow believe that there is this conspiracy against him. I guess he's now ran to the police, the RCIPS, trying to claim that there is this conspiracy. And how did Sandy know that? I'm like, McKeever, you should know better. You've been around in politics for 40-something years. You know that you fart in West Bay, people in East End sniffing it, going, phew, that McKeever Bush farting again. That's just how Cayman is. People talk, and it's nobody in an official capacity. Like, what do y'all think? That somebody sent me an email from the DPP's office? Like, Sandy, McKeever Bush has just been charged? Y'all are so stupid. The second he walks into a building with his lawyers, people are like, the only reason McKeever could be here is because now they're finally charging him. Like, it doesn't make any, I don't know what kind of conspiracy McKeever wants to believe in, but it's absolutely ridiculous if you ask me. So I guess he's furthering this theory that people set him up. Here's the thing, Mr. Bush. How can somebody set you up when no one even knew that you were going to the Ritz? Had you not gone there that night after having one too many drinks, you wouldn't have got yourself in trouble. So how is that a setup? The setup is what? They're telling your driver, drive Mr. Bush there because we know he can't ever behave and contain himself after he's drinking because he's so predictable? I mean, that would be quite the setup. It's just sad when big adults are unwilling to take responsibility for their continued actions. I mean, honestly, time and time again, Mr. Bush, you find yourself in scandal and in trouble, and never once have you been able to take accountability and said, okay, it's me. It's definitely me doing 50 years plus of badness. You're always wanting to blame even your deceased daughter and your trauma with losing your mother. I don't know when his mama died, but I'm like, really, dude? Everybody has had to deal with death and trauma, but not everybody does what you do. And the truth is your bad behavior has predated all of those things happening. So I don't know who you be trying to fool. It's a hot mess. Marshall says Bush is just another Trump. Amen to that. So anyway, he's going to continue to delay it. I guess he feels like that's in his best interest. So they claim that they are trying to find emails and documents and messages to prove a hidden agenda behind Bush's arrest and charge. Good grief. He also claims, of course, that he don't have no money. So I guess he'll be applying for legal aid to fund this bill. And somebody said to me this morning, I gotta read y'all this comment because it did make me kind of chuckle. This person said this morning, in relation to this story, they said there's no defense to being a multi-decade-old repeat offender. And it got, and they use an expletive, I'll leave that out, all to do with his grief over his daughter. He was a sexual menace and a rude, another expletive, way before he got that gastric belt operation done. They say I was a restaurant manager way back when, from 1988, and they remember Mr. Bush. He was a total bully, a despicable patron to deal with. His poor wife and ignorant and gullible constituents hope their free washing machines and handouts gonna run out a long time. Talking about the allegation of buying votes. We get what we get, vote for expletive, and we produce expletive, and we look expletive to the rest of the world. Then they said, rant over. I shall now continue on with my workout. That expletive makes my blood boil. They go on to say, I wish I was sitting on that jury duty so that they could be picked. Yes, sir. What a hot mess. Without a doubt, folks, this man has a reputation. And I think everyone who sits back and wants to talk about, oh, there's some conspiracy against him and people making up stuff on McKeever, they're living in denial. And they are simply refusing to accept, like this person has said, their experience dates back to 1998. And there are people who will tell you about things way before that. So it's unfortunate. He could have definitely been a success as a reality TV star because his life is messy enough. I don't know if we would want to see all the messiness, but we know that it's there. And so I will keep you updated on when he finally goes to trial. He claims that he's not planning to run again. I think that's another smoke screen and mirrors. It's another lie. Last week, he was doing the most, talking about CUC. Again, smoke screen and mirrors. You know, I hope that we as the voting public at some point can't be so stupid. Like at some point, we have to open our eyes and say, wow, this man has gotten away with a lot. He's going to continue to get away with it till he, I guess, makes it to the grave. But, you know, we have to accept him for who he is and stop being fooled by it. And everybody wants to give this man the benefit of the doubt. I've told you guys before, you know, in my heart, somewhere there's a little soft spot for Mr. Bush, because one day he gave me some advice that he never had to give me that I thought was, you know, coming from a good place. I'm not saying that this man is all bad. No, most people are not all bad. You know, there are aspects of them and their personality that could be A-okay. But I think the problem with someone, I ran into someone in the bank the other day and they said something to me, which I thought, you know what? This just makes so much sense, right? They said, where there is no consequences, there will be a continuation. And they said, Sandy, I like your show. I like how you try to hold people accountable, because ultimately, if there is no consequences, there'll be a continuation. And I said, I have got to remember that, honey child, because that is so true, right? So absolutely true. When you have people running around doing whatever it is that they want, of course, they feel like, you know what, no one is ever going to hold me accountable. So, you know, I can just continue to do what I want to do. And I think that some of our MPs have lived that life. And, you know, Mr. Bush is the epitome of it, really. He's the singular modern day MP who has just gotten away with a whole lot. And there have really been no consequences. I suppose now there are some consequences, like removing him from Speaker of the House and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, in his mind, he will continue to rule in West Bay, and the people of West Bay, as long as you continue to vote him in, he will always be a potential chess maker and game player. You know, because with 19 constituents, it doesn't take much to be almost down that middle line where at the end of the day, his vote will make the difference between making a government and not. And let's be honest, just like the PAC government, they felt it necessary to use him because the numbers were so tight. So it's unfortunate. He's like a spoiled child a lot of times. Like when we talk about him on this program, I expect him now to run back to his lawyers and complain because he does it all the time. Mr. Bush will know that for many years, I've never been in his inner circle. No. Like I said, I have stood on the government steps of the old government building when he gave away our birthright and those status grants with no consideration whatsoever. I was one of those people out there with my little wheelbarrow and sign. I have a picture of it somewhere, protesting against what Mr. Bush had done. One day he told me about, how people in political circles talking about the PPM will use you for their own political gain. And I suppose he would know that for a fact because I think they all do it. And I thanked him for the advice and I appreciated him. He said, you got to look out for yourself. And I said, you know what, Mr. Bush, you're absolutely right. And so over the years, we would talk mostly on WhatsApp. I can't even say that I've sat down and break bread with this man, like at a dinner or anything like that, and he has invited me to some of his prayer breakfasts, like for the parliament and so forth when he was Speaker of the House. But, someone who is a friend, or they don't even have to be your friend, if they genuinely like you or they genuinely care about your well-being, they're going to tell you the truth. And Mr. Bush has known between the messages that I've sent him over the years that I have always tried to speak the truth, even to him one-on-one. And I've said to him, Mr. Bush, these people who come around you and encourage you to go out drinking and do all this stuff with them, they're not your friends. They're people, they're hanger-oners or whatever, right? They are seeking to, live off of your influence and have you pay the bill for everything. Because when you go out drinking with them, they are, knowing that they're going to get a night full of as much as they can drink on your tab. I said, maybe you need to reevaluate the people that you're hanging out with that allow you to make poor decisions, because the decisions are yours. You have to own the decisions. But when you have friends who know you have a problem and those friends encourage you in that, you need to reevaluate those so-called friendships and those so-called friends, right? If I'm an alcoholic and everybody knows that I get messy when I drink, and I need to be sober and I need to be in therapy and whatever. The friends that call me up on a Friday night and be like, Michael said he's his own worst enemy. Absolutely. But your friends can also help and worsen the situation. So when those friends call you and they're like, oh, Sandy, let's go out drinking tonight. And I'm like, oh, I'm trying to be a recovering alcoholic. And it's even worse now that I've had gastric bypass surgery, because the one thing with the surgery is that it filters, nothing gets filtered properly anymore. The sugar in whatever you're drinking goes right through to your system. So you do get drunk quicker. You can't hold your liquor as well as you used to be able to when your stomach was bigger. This is the truth. So your friends know this, and they're still out there encouraging you to go out. They don't even have the decency to say, you know what, Mr. Bush, we know you like your little drink, and I guess we can't stop you from drinking. But let's do a trade, right? You stay home and drink so that you don't get messy out in these streets, and have another public spectacle upon you and be charged with another offense because you're groping women and doing all this kind of stuff allegedly. Mr. Bush be getting all up in his feelings, honey child. He be running to his lawyers. Oh, Sandy said that she called me a liar and said that I did not voluntarily give up my OBE. Well, we said it before and we're going to say it again. If you have proof that it was a voluntary situation and that you were not notified by these people that they were going to be stripping you, which, first of all, you knew from last year that they were investigating you to put you on that list. So there's nothing that you can prove now. Even if you gave it up, that's because you knew what was coming. This man just lives in this world of denial. And, my sympathy for him ran out. That's the problem. I even said to Mr. Bush, Mr. Bush, listen to me. I have a little bit of sympathy for people who struggle with addictions, alcoholism and stuff, because I'm pretty sure that my father fell into that category, although he was never diagnosed as such. I know that he was a different person when he drank, from the stories that I've heard, and that his behavior wasn't the best, And so what I want to tell you is you've got to make a decision about how your life is going to go. Your legacy has been tarnished now beyond repair because of your own poor decisions. And you can't blame anybody else for that. That's you. I feel sorry for Miss Carrie, his poor wife. But, she comes from a generation of women where back in those days, you stood by your man no matter what. They beat you. They cheat on you. They're drunk and sloppy all the time. They talk down to you. They do all these things, and you just stood there like the meek little wife. God help him if she ever gets the strength to get up and say, I've had enough. 50 years of this foolishness. I'm out of here. I don't know what he would do. But I do feel sorry for her. And I also feel sorry for his children and his grandchildren because, his reputation in a way also tarnishes them. Like every time they go around now and they're like, oh, you're the granddaughter of Mr. Bush. Okay. It's not a good thing anymore. Such a sad situation. Anyway, I'll continue to update you guys. Orlean, good morning, says, good morning, Miss Sandy. I love how you do your thing by talking the truth. Well, I think that the truth has an ability to liberate us and to set us free. And, we have to accept our own truths. We have to accept the truths of our community, the truths as a country. And sometimes we also have to accept that we need a little bit of professional help. And I think that that's where Mr. Bush is. And I don't know what his lawyers tell him. I fancy, as long as he can find money to pay the bill, they're probably not even going to tell him the truth. But people need to stop enabling this man. If he was somebody asked me this morning, why isn't Mr. Alberga doing his case anymore? Mr. Alberga probably got sick and tired of him, to be honest. How many times you going to defend the man for the same foolishness? Even Mr. Alberga, he's like, I ain't got the patience of Job. I'm out of here. I think that, and to be fair, I've always wondered why Mr. Alberga defended him at all, because Mr. Alberga isn't really in the criminal court system. The only cases he took on was McKeeva Bush, because the two of them are friends. Brady is a criminal attorney and he knows the ins and outs of that court. So maybe he's better suited to handle this case. But I hope that Mr. Brady, who is, a principled man, he goes to church and so on and so forth. I hope that he is also telling him the truth between client and lawyer, that he's going to be wasting the court's time. And maybe what you do is just fall in the mercy of the court and ask for forgiveness because that night you were being sloppy at the Ritz-Carlton. Now, being sloppy and committing common assault are two very different things. The litmus test isn't whether or not he was being sloppy. It was, did it elevate to the level of a criminal offense? And that is the question that obviously a jury of his peers will actually have to have a look at and consider. Somebody say, you don't know that fool, you about a church man. Lord Jesus. Miss Stacy, can we start putting some liquor in this glass, please? Because y'all just be making me want to drink. Oh my God. Whew, I can't even with y'all. I'm going to just pretend like I'm drinking something this morning that I shouldn't be, because this is just my apple cider vinegar. But with that comment, I feel like I should be drinking some rum or something. What do y'all be highballing on? I don't even know. I don't drink, so I don't know what y'all be drinking. Oh my God. I cannot with you people. I don't know nothing about the man. I only know I hear say he go to church. So I was trying to give the man benefit of the doubt. I don't know. Oh my God. He broken down SDA church. Oh my God. I cannot. Behave. Jared said, not the liquor this early in the morning. Y'all make me want to drink, honey child. This person said, I be balling and grape juice. I cannot. Let us move on. Somebody asked about Miss Cayman. Let's move on to that hot mess. So her matter has been put off now. Oh my God. She's coming like Jeff Webb. Put off. I mean, good grief. But her matter has now been put off until October the 18th. This is at least the third or fourth time now that it's been delayed. I don't know what all the delays are about. It was supposed to be like the end of August, and then it got delayed again. So October the 18th should be her sentencing. I know part of the early delays were the reports hadn't come in from probation, her SIR, which is basically supposed to help her in the sense that, you know, she'll be able to go to these counselors and cry about what a bad life she's had, you know, all of the people who are mean to her, and this is why she's got mean girl syndrome herself, and why she wants to beat up every single boyfriend. So we'll see if that has any great significance, because then the judge has to do a balancing act really between what she says and what's said in the SIR versus what the victim impact statement is like. And you know, the interesting thing about the SIR is I often wonder about the people who do it and how tuned in they are. Like, you know, some of these criminals in the criminal justice system are real professional narcissists. So depending on who they get to do the SIR, those people might be hoodwinked into believing she's like a changed person. And, you know, she can speak really, really well. And I think she fools a lot of people until you really get to experience her. And, you know, she has a duplicitous nature and stuff about her, but we'll see. So October the 18th will be her sentencing if it does not get put off again. Lord Jesus, who knows? So we'll definitely keep an eye on all of that situation. And somebody said to me yesterday, there's some controversy apparently with the new Miss Cayman. I'm not getting into it. Let me tell you why. I'm going to explain the logic here. First of all, I no longer care about the Miss Cayman Universe pageant because it's not ran by government. I was in my feelings about the whole thing because that was our money being spent on this pageant with this committee that should have been disbanded a long time ago. So that's why I rode them so hard, right? I think our government needed to take responsibility. And since they were the ones who were actually appointing the committee, that was also a government appointed committee as well. So yes, we had expectations of them. Now that it's privately owned by dairy, it could fall into the biggest sinkhole in the ground. And let me assure you, I could care less. I don't care. That's her. It's a private venture. Apparently, they're still over there fighting and getting into all kind of foolishness. I don't care. That's on them. So some other platforms, I think, post stuff up and people are like, oh God, here we go again. What's wrong with these pageants? What's wrong with them? Think about it. Okay. You having 4 or 5 girls get up there and you're judging them based on a beauty standard, nothing else, to be quite honest. Yes, they throw in one little question to be like, oh, it's how well they answer the question. No, honey child, it's called a beauty pageant. Right? You're telling them that what they look like carries such significant value in this world and in this community that is something to hold to some high esteem. I see people doing the same thing with their little babies. Oh, I put my little baby in the Little Miss pageant and this and that, go vote for her and blah, blah. Your children, first of all, some of them really not all that cute. They be giving out pageant winning to everybody because they be feeling sorry for them. And because you pay to be in the pageant, your child can win something. So they encourage you to keep paying. It's a bunch of foolishness, if you ask me. Your children and their self-esteem should not be tied up in somebody else accepting their looks or telling them, what it is that they look like. So someone said that the ministry is still sponsoring them. Well, the ministry will give them, and I mean, we can FYI how much money they're actually getting. The ministry will give them, just like they do the other pageant, Miss World, they'll give them a little something, but this is not a situation. Somebody said that they're their biggest sponsors. Well, we're going to find out. We can FYI that because, again, that's government money. So this is, and a lot of people had this concern when we heard that it was going to be given up. A lot of people said, well, is it a situation where we're going to give it up and then still continue to spend the same amount of money? That should not be the case. And I would be very, very surprised to hear that government is still spending any significant money on that pageant, because we shouldn't. And quite frankly, a lot of them were all into the travel benefits and that they could travel halfway around the world for Miss Universe and blah, blah, blah. Dairy better get out there and shook her tush or whatever she has to do to raise money for her privately held pageant. And the Cayman Islands government should not be in the business of supporting foolishness. Now, if they want to give both pageants, and they have to give equally, So whatever they give to Miss Universe, they have to give to Miss World. If they decide, you know what, we're going to give $10,000 per annum to the pageant and that's it, they can make that donation. It's something that's FOIable, and we can certainly find out what that is. One pageant doesn't get any more than the next, and one doesn't get any more support than the next because now they're both privately held. And like I said, whatever Derry needs to do to raise money for her privately held pageant, that's her business. And I honestly do not care. Not government funds. I don't care how she do it. Twerk, girl, twerk. That's all I can say. Cheers to that. Gabby says, Lord, Sandy. Oh, hot mess. Just imagine Miss Stacy made a mistake and give Sandy some Henny and Red Bull one morning when she's on the topic of somebody messing with a child. Oh, geez, some peace. Don't y'all be giving Miss Stacy no ideas now. I don't think we have any Henny in this house, though, or Red Bull for that matter. We have a whole little section of liquor we do not drink. But, you know, when our guests come over, if y'all want a glass of something and we have our little socials and stuff, we want our guests to be comfortable. I don't drink, but that doesn't mean I'm telling you that you can't drink as long as you drink responsibly. So we always have wine. We got the coolers full of wine. And sometimes we buy like the specialty rum, like the aged rum and whatever. Someone actually gave us a wedding present. I forget what age that one is, but that hasn't even been opened. You know, those are the things you just keep because, oh, you know, a good friend gave it to you. You don't really ever intend to drink those things, right? Siobhan says, I was in one. By the way, Siobhan, I saw you walking yesterday on Crew Road. I was coming up after 4 o'clock, heading up on Crew Road, and I saw you. I was in one when I was a child, was first place and told my mom I didn't want to go back to any again, period. Not a good experience. Marshall says, as long as Derry Lee Dakers is in charge of that pageant, there's always going to be drama and a mess. Oh, honey child, I'm not going to take it on. I'm not going to take it on. Y'all know Derry's already up in her feelings about me, honey child. She's already upset. What a hot mess. Some of y'all were messaging me about it the night that it was on. I wouldn't even watch it. Making fun of her outfit and this, that, and who's going to win and making fun of the winner. And I'm like, listen, I don't care. I really don't care. There's a lot that I could have said, but, you know, when you don't care, you just let it go. Let it go. Miss Darlene has up a picture of the beautiful new queen. Congratulations to this young lady. Did you find out about the ring that Miss Stewart told you that she found and gave it to the police station? The ring? Which ring was that? No, I mean, she just mentioned it. We weren't really involved in that. There was another ring that ironically was found a couple of days ago. And hear this joke. Guess who it belonged to? It was from Mr. Alfredo Whitaker. And it had his initials and his wife's initials on the as a inscription on the inside. I was like, oh my gosh, what are the chances? So thank you to the lady who found that and was honest enough to say, hey, I found a ring on the beach. Irvelyn says, Sandy, you're so shady. I know. Shake it, girl. Shake it. Yep. Mm-hmm. They have professional pole dancing classes in Cayman now, I believe. I've heard. You know, you got to do what you got to do to raise money, honey jail. Still an honest living, if you ask me. Twerking on a pole, you could be doing a lot worse things. All right, Miss Juanita says, this girl's on fire. Sandy, that's you today. Oh, my gosh. Oh, the young lady that won is your cousin, my mama's niece. Oh, nice. So two of your first cousins. Okay, very, very nice. This person says, hello, we care, spill the tea. Oh my God. No. I'm going to help y'all not to care about the Miss Cayman pageant. Please use a straw to drink the vinegar. You know, this is the little ones in the packet because it's not straight apple cider vinegar. So I'm hoping that they have, because the thing about the apple cider vinegar, it's supposed to be very good for you, but it's not good for your teeth. So it can, yes, it can strip the enamel from your teeth and really ruin your teeth. So I'm thinking that this one might not be as concentrated as pouring it straight out of the bottle kind of thing. I'm going to look at the ingredients again. And that's why diluting it a little bit more is important if you're going to do the apple cider vinegar thing, because it helps to suppress your appetite. And they say it's good for you. Years ago, when I was in high school, there's this guy that went to my aunt's church. He did the whole apple cider vinegar thing before it was a thing. So this was back in the, oh my gosh, 90s, early 90s, maybe even late 80s. And so he did it. And girls, he swore that everything, he lost all this weight. His skin cleared up. He swore by it like it was a miracle elixir for him, according to him. He lost a bunch of weight and he was looking so good and this and that. And so I was like, oh, okay. Garrett says the same thing with lemon water. Yeah, because they're all acidic, right? So you have to be very careful with your teeth. Oh, thank you, Leanna. Yes, let's talk about this. Okay. So yesterday afternoon, and we do have some guests that are running late because of the traffic, so we'll give them time, no worries. So yesterday afternoon, as you guys know, there was an accident there in central Georgetown, a car caught fire. And I was like, oh my God, how on earth does this happen? Well, the story gets even more interesting. And I'm going to tell y'all, we know who did it. The mystery has been solved, honey Jill. So apparently, this person stole a vehicle. Oh my gosh. Right in central Georgetown. Stole a car. And then I don't know if they were drunk or what, but they stole a car and ended up crashing it in that building right where the mini mart is. Everybody's like, oh my God, that's the same mini mart with the guy who, ran the guy over with his car. I'm like, yes, coincidentally it is. It's like bad karma in that building now. I don't know. So anyway, the car caught fire. The fire service had to show up and put the fire out. It was like a whole thing. I was like, oh my God. So a lot of you got footage. Just give me a second. I'm going to share the footage. A lot of you got footage from like different camera angles of like the fire and what was going on. I had eyewitnesses who saw it happen. One person was like, Sandy, the guy was just like staring like a blank stare. He just like sat in the car for a minute and then he ran off. I was like, huh? Honey, chill. It just sounds like a hot mess. So I came out in excitement. So apparently he stole the car by Latin Taste Restaurant. And he didn't get very far because that's like one block up the road. But anywho, yes, honey chill. So one of the eyewitnesses yesterday was like, oh my gosh, Miss Sandy, I like saw the whole thing go down. And he was just like staring, like, I don't know if he was on drugs or he was drunk or what, but he seemed to like almost be frozen. I was like, really? Let me show y'all the hot mess. This is what went down. Hold on a second now. Yes, honey, chill. I was like, whoa. You don't see this happening every day in town. I mean, he actually ran into, what did he hit, by the way? I know he's up on the sidewalk, but it looks like he must have hit something. Is that part of the building? And then the vehicle caught fire, full blaze. Fire service had to come. So these are like different picture angles and stuff. Look at that. A plume of smoke. Looked like somebody there was trying to put it out before the fire service even came. Wow, what a hot mess. Hot tamales. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. There you go. I got personally, here you go. Fire service, police, everybody now on the scene. And they said that, yeah, he was standing there for a while, looking a particular way. And then it seems like he took off. So we posted the video of him. Somebody said, yeah, Sandy. We have photos of him and stuff, stealing the vehicle. This is him. Help us find out. And I'm going to tell you exactly who he is here in a second. But look at that. Look at that. Wow. You can't leave your car unlocked anymore, folks, because unfortunately, these crazy people stealing vehicles and stuff. Oh my goodness. Wow, look at that. I tell you, what a mess. So police were out there, fire were out there, spectators were having a look, and everybody was like shocked that this happened. So I don't know what he was on. I don't know what kind of special stuff he was on, but look at that. This person was trying to put it out before the fire service got there. You know, obviously you want to do what you can, but be careful, folks, because you don't want to put yourself in harm's way with these types of situations. Oh, do we have a caller? My goodness. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
How are you?
I'm just watching how stupid people are. There's a fire in a car, and people are getting as close as they can to that car. Do they realize if that car explodes, what the hell will happen in Georgetown? You know, common sense is not common anymore.
I guess they were trying to help put it out before it spread, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to be very careful.
What are they going to do? Take off their clothes and put it out? What? There was a couple of people that I see walking by, and then people are slowing down in their cars. I would get as far away from that as possible. You know, a curiosity kills a cat. You know.
Yeah, and a cat's supposed to have 9 lives. We don't. So most definitely, you stay back.
People, I haven't told a joke in a long time. This father went over. They were celebrating an anniversary and went over to look for their son. And the father goes into they were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, and they go into the father goes into the bathroom, and he comes out with a handful of Viagra. He said, Jerry, I want one of these pills. He says, Dad, at your age, do you really need a Viagra? Your heart can't take it. He says, how much? He said, Dad, the cost is nothing, but they're $10 each. So the next morning when the father was leaving, father and mother were leaving, he handed his son $110. But his son says, but I told you that was only $10. It says the 100 was from my mom, from your mother.
Oh my gosh. Woo, what a mess. The mother trying to kill off their son or what?
No.
Trying to get him to overdose?
His mother was happy he had the Viagra.
Oh my goodness. But you don't overdose on that stuff now. That'll make you real stiff, as in dead. All right, my dear.
All right.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
The little blue pill. What an amazing thing now. Making old men think that they can keep up with these young teens. Yes, sir. Okay, so here is the gentleman now who is said to have stolen the vehicle, allegedly. Check him out. Footage of him. He kind of looks familiar. So there it is. People walking by. So I don't know what happened. Did somebody just park the car and then, well, let's watch and see. This person pulled up on the sidewalk, got out of their car, left it running? Oh, child, y'all notice people stealing wallets and cars too. So where does the guy come out of? Oh, he came out of the shop. And he look at him. Look at him. He was thinking about it. So it's like he came out, saw the car running. This way you must get yourself an electric vehicle, because then it would have been so silent, and one of those hybrids, he wouldn't have heard it running. Or just don't leave your car running, because that's actually against the law as well, to leave a car unattended running. So look at him. He comes out. You see him think about it. Oh, that car's running. Let me go for a little joyride in the afternoon. Look at that. And he goes, sees nobody's in there, opens the car, gets behind the wheel of the car. What if he even has a driver's license, honey child? Oh, wow. Look at him. Look at him. He was trying to figure out how to put it in gear, I guess. And there he goes, taking off in the stolen vehicle. Yes, sir. Wow. What a mess. Is this another video? Somebody stole a bike as well. I'm trying to see if this is, or is this another angle from somewhere else? Let's see. Trying to see. Oh, I think this one might be the stolen bike. We'll tell you about the stolen bike later on. But somebody stole a bike as well. Man, y'all, you gotta tie everything down these days. Okay. Oh, that's a stolen bike one as well. Oh, sorry. I think the videos kind of got a little bit confused. All right. So you got a 2-for-1, stolen bike and stolen car. So by this morning, this mystery was solved. Let me tell y'all who he is. Hold on now. According to our sources, this person said, "Morning, Sandra," at 2:46 a.m. Good morning. The man that stole that car by Latin Taste is Manswell from West Bay, a Cuban Caymanian that grew up by the West Bay police station area. So Manswell, RCIPS, maybe the two of you need to have a conversation today. The camera footage is pretty good of Manswell. There should be no issues finding him today. So I think y'all, should just go and locate him. He's probably still walking around town today. So that's what our sources said. And I guess y'all need to get a hold of him. So he was wearing some clothes yesterday, like he was trying to go work out somewhere. But anywho, Manswell, honey, chill. Go turn yourself into the authorities this morning. Save yourself the trouble. Does he? And maybe he just couldn't really drive. That's why he crashed. I mean, I don't know where he would have been going in such a hurry, but there he is. Okay. All right, folks. We're going to switch gears. We've got a guest waiting in the back room of our studio. Let's do a quick commercial break this morning.
Friends, Caymanians, Whopper fans, I do declare that this king is angry.
The Angry Whopper is back after 4 years. Flame grilled quarter pounder topped with melted pepper jack cheese, hot angry sauce, crispy angry onions, iceberg lettuce, jalapenos, and tomato. But that is not all. You can now get angry everything. Angry chicken, angry fish, even angry breakfast. Ask for angry at Burger King and we'll add pepper jack cheese, angry sauce, angry onions, and jalapenos to any sandwich. Angry everything is here for a limited time only, and only at Burger King.
I'm Kenneth Bryan, Minister for Tourism and Ports, and I need your help to keep our beautiful islands clean. Littering is unsightly and negatively impacts our tourism industry, which is crucial to our economy. Keeping our islands clean is everyone's responsibility, so let's all work together to keep the Cayman Islands beautiful for generations to come.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
Ocean Ridge Heights offers an amazing opportunity to own a piece of land in idyllic Cayman Brac, right on the bluff, starting from $80,000. Located in a quiet residential area with high elevation, these lots are ideal for a future home or investment property and are sure to go fast. Cayman Brac offers a laid-back lifestyle, amazing pristine diving, limestone caves, diverse flora, along with amazing wildlife. Inquire about the owner financing options so that you can secure your piece of paradise today. With only a few lots remaining, these are sure to go before you know it. Contact Crichton Properties today on 345-949-5250 or info@crichtonproperties.com.
Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, helping injured people get what they deserve. Did you know that insurance companies have lawyers that represent their interests? Before signing and accepting any settlement, know your rights. Call us today for a free consultation at 924-9999. That's 924-9999. Recover. Your personal injury attorneys are on standby to assist.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program. We're going to be talking with none other than Miss Tiz Romano, who's joining us from Recover. Hello, Tiz.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
I'm good. You were off on holiday recently, so we did miss you. Now we're back, and you're going to be joining us again, talking about personal injury, legal matters, which, again, helping to educate the people of the Cayman Islands. And this particular one, the subject today, I think is a really good subject because unfortunately it's something that keeps coming up in the community, which is that of wrongful death. So we're going to delve into that. But before we get into a substantive topic, how was your summer?
It was awesome. We went to Europe and had a wonderful time and can't wait to go back. But
got to see family that you'd not seen in a while.
Yeah. Last time I went was 15 years ago, so it was a nice break, and we got to do a lot of stuff and reconnect with people, and it was wonderful.
Yeah,
hot though, very hot.
Yes. Oh, it was hot there too.
Oof. Heat wave.
Well, yeah, yes, we had it here as well. But we're going to be talking about wrongful death. And of course, this is a very, very interesting topic because it impacts so many people here in the Cayman Islands, unfortunately. But can we get a baseline definition of, what is a wrongful death so that when people hear that term, they kind of know what that means?
Sure. So wrongful death is any situation where somebody died because of negligence or a reckless act or something they did on purpose to another individual and caused their death. So it could be wrongful death could happen from a person. It could be a person to a person. It could be a company's fault or a business or another entity. Like these are the target people you would be looking to blame for the death that happened that shouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's really, really interesting about this, Tiz, is it's shocking to me the people that don't know about wrongful death or don't even understand how when they lose a loved one, like that life had some value. I mean, obviously it has immense value to the family members and so on, but even beyond that, it has some value from as far as the courts are concerned, right? So, someone kills your loved one in a DUI incident, you have the right to sue them for that loss of life.
Yes. So we'll go into the different types of circumstances where wrongful death can occur, but definitely drinking and driving is a huge one on this island. Mm-hmm. And we've covered this topic before on the show. And it's really, really sad.
Yes. Absolutely. So let's look at the common different types of situations then that can lead to wrongful death. So first one that we've got up then is car accidents.
Yeah, so that's a very common one, like we just said, unfortunately. And so when someone else causes that type of damage to you that results in a death, then the family members are entitled to make a claim on the deceased person's behalf.
Mm-hmm. And does it matter really kind of how the accident happened? So for example, even if it's not a DUI?
Yes. So very important is how the accident happened. So obviously if you get in a car and you drive recklessly or you're racing and you cause your own misfortune, then there's no claim there. No one can claim that on your behalf. But if you are driving recklessly and you cause somebody else to be severely injured and as a result they die, then they can make a claim against you. Mm-hmm. So the facts are very important. There could be drinking involved. There could be racing involved. There could be recklessness. They could be on the phone. All these different things. And obviously the police would be called and do a thorough investigation, especially when it involves a fatality. I believe that they do a deeper dive into the circumstances. They interview people and they capture footage, whether it's CCTV or otherwise. And sometimes they even hire a reconstructionist to get involved to figure out the actual dynamics of how the accident happened. So
Mhm.
all of those things are very important for us to gather that type of information before we can give you advice on what, if you have a claim and what it.
Yeah, because I've actually got someone, interestingly enough, there was a recent accident on the Esterly Tibbets, and someone listening to the program says, are you sure that the person who died wasn't driving? Because, somebody on the street is saying that that person, was just on island and blah, blah, blah. And so maybe they were the ones driving. But that's why, as you say, experts are oftentimes required to do reconstructive accident, scenarios, because they can tell who was driving and who wasn't driving for the most part. Is that right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I'm suspecting if there's a situation where anyone is trying to claim that they were not the driver, that would be the first thing that the police should have done.
Right.
Okay. All right. Leanna says, when is government going to pass the bill for murders for killing someone that has kids and make them pay child maintenance? Now, this is something that has come up recently. I don't know if you saw this story, Tiz, on our platform, but in the United States of America, they're actually passing legislation on the state level where more and more they're saying that the person who is you can sue for wrongful death, but outside of that, they're actually taking it upon themselves to where there's a drunk driver situation that ends in a fatal crash, they're going to pay restitution. And the court can order that without the person having to go the extra step of hiring a lawyer and engaging beyond that. The latest state to do it is Texas. So they're going to now require drunk drivers who kill parents to pay child support back to the system or the government or whatever, which will then pass that on to the families. Do you think that this is a good idea and maybe something that Cayman can adopt?
Definitely. I mean, especially when you're dealing with deceased parents. I mean, we're going to get into it later, but there's a whole dependency claim. So that child no longer has a parent that's providing for them, putting a roof over their head, feeding them, sending them to school, all of that stuff. And there is a value to that. So if our government would take that into consideration, I think that would be a huge step in providing more justice to people who are suffering as a result of these terrible accidents.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not a bad idea for sure. But, there's other, I'm sure we'll get into this as we continue the conversation this morning, but there's other, forms of compensation as well. So it's not just the care and well-being of the children, but other people may have, even if a person doesn't have children, a spouse that's left behind, a parent and so on, might be entitled to some form of compensation as well.
Right. And then the tricky part is if the person who caused the accident didn't have insurance, which we see so many times, time and time again, they don't have the valid insurance. And then you're looking at trying to go after the person personally. And if they have no assets, if they're here on a work permit, if they're in a low paying job, then it's really tricky to get any compensation out of that person. And that's really, really sad. And there's no social net safeguard in place to cover those types of losses, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, folks, don't forget that the phone lines are open 936-2626. You can certainly, feel free to reach out to us morning if you have a question for Tiz or a comment to make on this area as well. I think it's really quite an important topic that we're discussing. So another type of wrongful death is medical malpractice.
Yeah, this is, I don't think as popular a category as car accidents, but it does in fact happen more than we'd like to see. You go in for a routine operation and you never come out. It's really sad. And not always is it a direct right to make a claim. For medical malpractice, it's a bit trickier. So you have to look at the medical evidence and see what went wrong, because it's not enough for a doctor to make a mistake. You have to prove a different standard. You have to show that they fell below the standard of any other reasonable doctor in their position. So this is like, it's a legal test. It's tricky. You need experts. And, you know, if you find yourself in this type of situation, we would ask that you give us a call for a consultation, because it's very fact specific. And so,
yes. And oftentimes you're going to need other medical professionals to give, you know, perhaps their assessment on what happened in any particular situation to see whether or not it really amounts to medical malpractice.
right. And especially on this tiny island where all the doctors know each other and are friends, we find we have to go off island to other countries to get these types of experts, because no one really wants to comment on other colleagues' possible mistakes. So you really need legal experts helping you with these types of cases. We're very particular with what we take on at this firm, and we go through a whole screening process before we actually take on one of these cases.
Interesting. So the medical profession might be looking out for each other in a way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So let's see. Jackie says, can you ask about agencies who provide nursing care at home? Are they required to have malpractice insurance? How could you validate that they have it? Well, you can simply ask them, right?
Yes. Yeah, they should have it, because it's a business, and most businesses should have insurance for things that can happen. In Canada and the United States, there's huge subsection of these types of claims, like where people, the elderly, are put in a home and they're left and they're neglected, and then they end up dying. But again, very fact specific, lots of work required to investigate these types of claims. But yes, you could potentially make those types of actions, bring them forward.
Okay. Alejandro says it sounds like they're untouchable. Well, no one's untouchable, but I think what Tiz is saying that, you know, at the end of the day, especially when you're dealing with certain professions, medical professions, so on, you really want to make sure on the other end, you have professionals who know what to look for and who know what reports they need, who they have to engage, and what things will make for a potentially successful case or not, right?
Yes.
And then a lot of these entities will actually settle out of court because they don't want the general public to know that their, you know, physicians have made a mistake. There was one particular physician who actually punctured someone's lung doing acupuncture. And so that was quite a shocking situation, because what was even more shocking, Tiz, in that situation, I don't know if you ever heard of this case, but he actually told her to drive herself to the hospital with a punctured lung.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So, you know, people think, oh, acupuncture is no big deal and whatever. But if you don't know what you're doing, an acupuncture needle can be a very, very dangerous tool. And yeah, he actually was going, dry needling is different from traditional acupuncture, I should say, as well. And he was doing dry needling. And so he actually went too deep and ended up puncturing her lung, saw that she was in distress, and instead of immediately calling 911 for someone to drive her to the hospital and get her immediate medical assistance, he actually told her, oh, well, you can just go to the hospital. And so she ended up driving herself with a punctured lung that she just received to the hospital, and she had to have emergency surgery at the HSA. And thankfully, the surgeons there were able to save her life, because this was a life-threatening type of injury. And, you know, he ended up settling with her because he didn't want people to know that here he is practicing acupuncture when he probably shouldn't be. And he caused somebody's lung to collapse.
So another important point that should be raised actually is, before you're going to do a procedure or a treatment or anything like that, especially nowadays, cosmetic is really a big thing. You know, everyone wants that youthful look. Do your research before you actually undergo any procedures, and make sure that the person that you're choosing to provide any services to, treatment, whether it's surgery, treatment, etc., that you actually know and feel comfortable with their expertise. And if not, you have the right to get a second opinion or go consult with someone else. Just do your due diligence and make sure that you are in good hands, right? Because the last thing you want is to end up in a situation like this where you need to call a lawyer.
Very good. All right. Okay. Workplace accidents. Another interesting one.
Yes. So we see these quite a lot as well. Your employer has a duty to provide you with a safe system of work. It doesn't always happen. A lot of people don't get training. They don't get the right safety equipment. When they're dealing with heights, there's got to be harnesses and other safety procedures put in place to prevent these types of injuries from happening. So this is another piece of legislation or claims that we handle. And a lot of people unfortunately get hurt and could die on the work site, and that's really sad. There are some employment law standard laws here, workers' compensation, I believe, but you're also entitled to not go that route and choose a lawsuit instead. So again, consultation with a legal representative would be very helpful in these types of situations.
Excellent. We've got a few questions coming in. So Mr. LeMay says, does signing a consent form before your surgery affect the family's right to sue?
That is an excellent question. So in medical malpractice specifically, there's different categories of claims. So for example, one of them is the whole consent piece. So if you go in for a surgery and the doctor should, previous to the surgery, sit down with you and explain what the surgery is going to entail, and then especially go through the risks, right? What could happen? What are the chances of this? What are the chances of bleeding? What are the chances of infection? All of that stuff. And they are supposed to, by law, get you to sign a consent form, which like they would use to cover themselves in case of anything, right? Well, we explained the risks, you signed off on it. But it can go further than that, right? Consent is one piece, but then the standard of care is really what we're looking at, and causation. So did the surgeon do something that fell below the standard of care that caused you to sustain injuries? If yes, then you still have a claim even though you signed the consent form.
And I think that people are oftentimes confused by waivers, right? So I remember I used to go on, there's like a popular company here, go out on these like catamaran cruises and boats, whatever. And they'd always have you sign a waiver like, oh, you can't sue us for anything kind of thing. And I used to chuckle when I signed it because I said there's certain rights that you can't waive by law, right? So if you guys, by your own negligence, cause somebody to get killed on your catamaran or your boat cruise, you can still get sued regardless of the fact that they've actually signed a waiver. But of course, if people don't know that, they're not going to even contact a lawyer. So I think part of it is like a bit of psychological warfare with people, like keep you ignorant so that you don't know what your rights are. And then you think that, oh, there's nothing that I can do. So Mr. LeMay says, thank you for that. It's so good to know. Very good. So medical malpractice, we've got car accidents, workplace accidents, criminal acts. Now, this one is super, super interesting.
Yes. So, you're in a bar or a nightclub and all of a sudden a fight breaks out and you're in the middle of it. You're at the wrong place at the wrong time. You get assaulted, you get knifed, you get slashed, you get chopped, all kinds of stuff happens. We hear it all the time. And in certain situations, you have the right to sue the person who caused you to get injured or worst case scenario, to pass away. These are criminal intentional acts, and there is a category of torts that you can pursue action against these people. The problem here is that there wouldn't be any insurance covering them. So again, you're in a situation where you have to go after somebody personally. And if they don't have any assets and if they don't have any funds, then it's kind of a dead end.
But sometimes it can also be the fault of the establishment, right? Like if they didn't have proper security, or, there's a number of different things that really you could be looking at. There was an incident, and I was kind of surprised that nobody thought of this some months back, with a guy who was working as a DJ, and the DJ ended up stabbing one of the patrons and caused him some severe damage. Like, he was lucky to be able to make a somewhat full recovery. And so whilst the court was trying to put a compensation order in place for the DJ, who ended up, after he was sentenced, got fired from his job, so now he can't even pay that money. I was sitting there thinking, why doesn't the victim see about potentially suing that nightclub? Because, they hired him, so there's vicarious liability. He was acting as an employee of the organization. And I think there were some things that they should have been aware of that they either ignored, didn't care about, didn't follow proper procedure, whatever the case was. And they actually had him working there with a weapon on him that he then used on a patron. So folks, you might not always think about the legalities and what your rights are in any given situation, but this is why you want to talk to someone like Tiz, who is an expert. And once you tell her scenario, she can say, let's ask these questions. Let's look at this, these elements of the situation to see whether or not you might actually have a viable cause of action.
Exactly, Sandy. Thanks. You put it so succinctly.
Back in high school, I was doing the teen court program. The judge says, "You have a way with words, young lady. You would be a great attorney, not corporate attorney. You do great in court because definitely you got a way with words." A pedestrian accident. Ooh la la. So you run over a pedestrian. Wow.
Yeah. Similar to car accidents, right? The person driving the car would be found at fault, and in most situations, again, very fact specific, investigations are required. And if the person is found at fault, the family can make a claim on behalf of their loved one.
Interesting. Okay. Swimming pool accidents, really? Yes.
Yes. So again, this happens with especially small children, where they're in a complex. There's a pool, and there's no security measures in place around the pool to kind of prevent these types of things. And child just walks into the pool, and no one's there to see him. Supervision is a huge issue in these types of cases, but sometimes you may be able to make a lawsuit depending on the facts of the situation.
Very good. And who can file a claim for wrongful death? So I think, sorry, let me just back up here. This is quite a good one, Tiz, because I've heard people say, but I'm just a sister. And I'm like, well, they don't have any kids. The mothers are deceased. You potentially can have a claim as well.
So yeah, in order of, like, I would say significance, like who has the biggest claim would be number one, a spouse, number two, child, then number three is a grandchild, number four is the parent of an unmarried person. So obviously if the person's married, their spouse would have more of a right. And then grandparents and also step parents can also make a claim. Okay. So the key here is, we need to show that you are a dependent on the person, right? So if you're financially dependent on someone, whether it's a child to a parent or a spouse to another spouse, they have the most right, and they'll probably get the most compensation in these types of claims, right? Because even if you have this case where there's a sibling, and maybe the sibling doesn't even live in the same country as the deceased, and yes, they have a good bond, a relationship, but there's no dependency, then you can't bring those types of claims. You can bring, we'll go through it, I think, on the next slide, where you can bring a claim for funeral costs, if the body needs to be sent back home, all those types of tangible claims, like things you can quantify, they're entitled to bring those types of claims. But in terms of a dependency claim, that's something else.
I see. Another question. Well, Alejandro makes a comment. Alejandro says, if a child dies in a pool, it should be the parent's fault.
So this goes back to contributory negligence, right? And we talked about that on a previous show. So definitely there could be allegations that, yes, the parents are responsible for their children, the children should not be left unattended. But there could be other extenuating circumstances that would point fault to somebody else. So sometimes at the end of the day, it would be a split responsibility.
Okay. Moya has a question. She says, does Cayman have a legal time frame to sue for an incident, or say 10 years pass, can you still pursue the matter? So what is what they call the statute of limitation?
Great question. I think that's on a slide.
Oh, we're coming right up. All right.
We can answer it now. It's 3 years.
It's 3 years.
3 years from the date of the death to make a claim.
Or the date of the incident.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And of course, there could be exceptions to that. So say, for example, you don't know the injury until later on, or the extent of the injury. Does that extend then the statute of limitation?
Yes, but those claims will be fought. So we have to make sure that it's a legitimate issue of discoverability. It's called. When did you discover? When could you have reasonably discovered?
Wonderful. 936-2626. Folks, if you have a question for Tiz, now is your opportunity to give her a call. We're going to move on now to talk about the different types of damages in wrongful death claims. In other words, what can you actually get compensated for?
Okay, so the most obvious ones would be the financial losses resulting from the death, right? So you're looking at funeral costs, you're looking at medical expenses, you're looking at burial costs, flight costs, like if family has to come in and take care of the situation. Those are all things that can be quantified as economic damages. And then you also have the loss of dependency claims, like I was mentioning before. So we would need to figure out if it's a parent who's deceased and they left 3 children, like what was the parent bringing into the household financially, and work that out for the rest of their working life. What would that look like? And sometimes we need to get actuaries involved to figure that all out. It's harder to quantify when people have their own business working for themselves or getting paid in cash. There's a lot to consider when you're trying to calculate the loss of dependency and the loss of wages that a person would have made had they still been alive.
Very, very interesting. Okay. All right. Let's see what we've got next. So what's the legal process involved for making a wrongful death claim?
Okay, hang on, because we didn't finish the
I'm sorry.
Slide. So besides economical damages you can prove, there are also non-economic damages, right? And those would include compensation for pain and suffering and the emotional difficulties that the family is left with, after a sudden unexpected death. Obviously, you're going to have a hard time, especially a spouse or with young kids. It's a horrible situation to be in, and they would definitely need counseling, I would say. and those types of costs are also able to be compensated. And then there's also something else called loss of consortium. Consortium is like the loss of benefits that you would have received in a relationship, whether it's companionship, whether it's guidance, comfort, support, and even intimate relations. Like there's you can claim for those types of things, because that's an actual thing, right? You lose your partner and you lose all of that. And then very rarely, sometimes the courts will award aggravated damages where the defendant's actions are so bad and so malicious, then the judge gives an extra amount of money for aggravated damages. But that's like in very rare circumstances.
Yes. Let me just highlight two things here. When you were talking about criminal acts earlier, one of the most famous cases a lot of us might be aware of would be the O.J. Simpson case, right? So in a criminal court of law, O.J. Simpson got off. He was found not guilty by a jury, I think it was. But then the family of Nicole Brown Simpson and the other gentleman, I forget his name now, who died that evening, sued and successfully sued, I should say, O.J. Simpson for wrongful death in their murder. So it's important, because I think some people might think, oh, I'm just going to let the police deal with it. It goes through that process. These are two very separate types of legal situations, if you will. So you have the wrongful death claim, which is a civil matter. And then you've got the criminal matter, which the police and the DPP's office will handle. And just because there's a particular outcome in the criminal matter doesn't mean that you don't have a viable case in wrongful death. Is that correct, Tiz?
Yes, that's correct. So in criminal cases, the judge hands down a sentence, whether it's jail time or community service or house arrest or whatever it is. That has nothing to do with money. And then, so that's when you have to consider also launching a civil suit to get compensated financially. So there's no amount of money that could bring somebody back if they are deceased. But the only way the courts could give compensation is financially. So that's a totally separate thing. You're right, Sandy.
Okay, wonderful. All right, folks. So ask your question. Now is your opportunity to do so. So tell us a little bit then about what is actually involved in making a claim.
Okay, so step one is obviously to consult with an attorney, right? So they can kind of guide you through the process. And once the attorney takes your case on, then there's a whole lot of investigation that has to happen. We have to gather the evidence. We have to get witness statements, like police evidence, camera, CCTV footage if there is. We try to explore every avenue to get the most information about the claim. And then once we're in the position to proceed, then we'll file a claim in the Grand Court on your behalf. And then it goes through the court process. And then sometimes in the background, there are settlement negotiations that take place in order to avoid a trial, because trials are expensive. They take up the court's resources, they take up the attorney's time and energy, and so sometimes it makes sense just to settle it before it gets to that stage. And then if a settlement is agreed, then you resolve your claim and you get the compensation, in financial compensation.
Okay. All right. Very good. So interesting. And again, we talked about the statute of limitation for this type of claim being 3 years, either from the death or the time of the injury.
Yes. And then I just put a little note again about contributory negligence in case it didn't come up before, but it did. So every case is fact specific, and sometimes you'll find that there was more than one person responsible for the injury or the death, right? And that the courts will attribute percentages for contributory negligence, right?
And in fact, there's a very interesting formula, I guess. I mean, it's horrible to think about, a person's life uh, as a formula, but there is a way that they figure out, for example, if they're looking at compensation related to the person's profession, like they actually look at what the person was doing, how old they were, how many years they had until retirement, that they'd be making such and such an income. So the bottom line is, if you kill someone who is a physician, for example, making $1 million a year versus you killing someone who works as a waitress in a restaurant making $60,000 a year, the level of compensation varies because of who you killed, essentially.
That is a great point, actually, Sandy. And we're finding that these days, especially on this island, there's some high level executives here that make tons of money. And so if you kill one of them, your motor vehicle accident policy will only cover you up to, typically policy limits are $1 million. Well, what if this person was making $1 million a year? They're going to come after you for the balance. So really important to check, again, your insurance policy coverages. And, some people have basic, and there are options where you can upgrade your policy limits as well, right? So, because the last thing you want to do is find yourself unprotected, and people will come after your personal assets. They can go after your wages, all kinds of stuff, your properties.
Wow. It's good to know. What do you call those little booklets? You have to refresh my memory here. In law firms, they have those books where you update the leaflets, like some of them are monthly, quarterly, and it updates like cases that impact that particular case law. Do you know what they're called?
There's different ones. We have a whole shelf of them here at our office.
That used to be my job when I was at Maples and in law school, was to update those all the time. And that's how I learned about this whole thing with how they use the formula and kind of how it's almost like a mathematical equation in a way. But I would sit there and read those because it was so fascinating how they really determined what you're worth once you're dead. Like, what was the value of that individual to his or her family? So a student doesn't have the same value as a working professional who's been working for 10 years or, wow. So Tori is here with us this morning, asking the question. Good morning, ladies. What if the driver didn't have insurance at all?
Yes, and this happens a lot. It's you're left with going after the driver personally, and you hope that they have some money, some assets, some property that you can attach a judgment to, but in a lot of cases they don't, and there's nothing we can do.
Yep. Do you find though that, this is a question probably of asset tracing, people who, when they get involved in this, if they're smart enough, they then try to start to hide what they do have. You work with experts at TIS who, if need be, can help to chase down assets.
Definitely. We have a whole section of our firm that deals with debt collection and asset tracing. So we definitely could cover you in those respects.
Right. And how far does it extend? So say, for example, I'm responsible for, causing a person's death and I don't have money today. Do you still go after that person and at least get the judgment? So in the future, if I come into money, like, my rich aunt dies and leaves me a millionaire, can you then go after those things? Like, what would you recommend? How does that work?
Yeah, definitely. So we would secure a judgment and then try to collect it and enforce it. So whether we need to hire a private investigator or do other types of investigations to see where these assets could be, or if we have to put the person on a payment plan, we've done that as well, where they don't have all the money up front, but they've agreed to make monthly payments towards the debt, and that's also another option.
And future acquisitions, is there a certain amount of time that you have to collect Like if you've done a lawsuit of this kind, is there a certain time frame then for which you have to collect the funds, or is that an indefinite?
I don't know the answer offhand. There is a limitation period, but I would have to double check that.
Right. Okay. All right. 936. We're going to wrap things up with Tiz now. 936-2626. If you have any burning questions before Tiz leaves today, let's talk about how these and why these cases can be tricky.
Okay. So when you come in and you make a claim for yourself, you sign your authorization forms that allow us to access information on your behalf. And it's very easy, very straightforward process. However, when you come in and you're trying to gather files of your loved one, we get a lot of red tape because they start asking, well, what's your authority to get this information? Did this person have a will? Are you the executor? Or if there wasn't a will, then you need to go through a whole court process to get probate and then give you permission to administer the estate. And part of that administration is to request the documents that we require. So it's a lot more work. And if there's family members fighting against each other, like you have, for example, a wife versus a parent, and they're butting heads, like it can get messy. So there's an aspect of estates law that is also involved in these types of wrongful death cases.
And Irvela has a question. She says, why does it take so long for payout on a claim? So what's the average time then for payouts of claims? I guess it just depends.
It really depends, but I would say most claims take at least a year, if not longer, unless they're like super straightforward where you can get to a resolution right away. But
hi, caller. You have a question for a guest this morning?
Hello?
Okay, guess not.
Lost them.
Don't forget, folks, we're live on radio. 936-2626 is the telephone number. So I guess, Irvin, the short answer is it just depends. Insurance companies, I guess, do insurance companies ever just pay out without trying to fight you guys? That's a question that I always have. Because some of them seem to fight more than others. There's some providers on this island. I've heard stories about them and I've seen some of the stuff that they do. And I would never use them for insurance purposes because they seem to always want to fight a claim, no matter what. Has that been your experience as well?
So I'll tell you, their insurance companies are happily taking your premiums every month and every year. But then when it comes to payout, they really do push back. First line of defense, they start seeing how they can get out of the policy. Right? So did this person had previous accidents and didn't report them? Oh, then we're not going to cover you. If they didn't pay their premiums on time, you didn't have coverage. All kinds of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, they're not your friend, I would say. And they're looking after their own pocket. And if they can get out of a claim, they will. And so that's why sometimes these things take really long because, they're looking into coverage and then if there is coverage, then they fight you also on the value and push back on any issue that they can really.
Yes, caller, you have a question for our guest?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
What size your dick is?
Sorry?
What size your book is?
I'm sorry. What's your question?
How can I eat it? Yogurt.
I think out what that person was saying. Sounds like they might have been drunk on the radio this morning. Okay, folks, this is not a program for you to call with any jokes. Don't do it because I can assure you that we will. Give me one quick second, Tiz, if you want to go ahead and wrap up while I answer this off air.
Sure. So we're just going to leave off with reminding you that you should really inquire into your rights. And, we can go through the the situation with you. We can point out what the legal issues are that would be involved, what our opinion is as to whether you have a winning case. And again, all that you're required to do is give us a call, and you'll get a consultation with one of our lawyers, and it's free. So there's really no drawback to you to inquire what your rights are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. All right, so give Tiz a call. What's the best way for them to contact you?
So we have a WhatsApp number. It's 924-9999. You can also go on our website, recover.ky, and there's like a form you can fill out. You can put a little bit of information about your case, and we'll receive your email and get in touch with you and offer you a consultation if you require one.
All right, folks. Thank you so much, Tiz. Give them a call at 924-9999. They will cover, help you recover with all things related to personal injury. We see now that we have a better understanding, at least in the term of wrongful death, exactly what that means. So we appreciate you, Tiz, always coming on the program and enlightening us, the viewers, about what our rights are. It's important at least to know what your rights are, so that if you ever find yourself in a situation, you're able to contact Recover for a free consultation. And again, if you don't win, they don't recover. So I think they're the only law firm in Cayman that has taken on that approach. Can we talk a little bit, Tiz? We know that came about as a legislative change. And, you know, a lot of people still don't seem to know about it. Like, I've been referring a young lady, she keeps calling me every day. Oh, I was injured in an accident. I'm like, you need to call these lawyers. They're there for you. They're the experts. They understand what's going on. Reach out to them because they can assist you. And she keeps saying, I don't have any money.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I appreciate you spreading the word out there that this is a service that we offer for free. We do not charge you. You will never get a bill from us unless we are successful in settling your case or taking it to trial and winning. So there should be no reason why people are scared to call us. There's no disadvantage. You have access to justice, and you should take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. All right, very good. 924-9999. Check out their website. Thanks, Tiz.
Thanks, Andy.
So
Always
good to see you. All righty.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, folks. Recover. They'll be with us again next month. They always, come with very, very interesting and topical questions, so that, again, the more you can learn about what their services are and what they offer and how they do it, I think the better off everybody will be, to be quite honest. All right, the phone lines are open. This person keeps calling and annoying me. Sir, I don't know why you're calling this number this morning, but you're going to be reported to the police. So please stop calling me. I don't know who you are. Hello? I don't know why this person keeps calling 928-8826. You need to stop calling my phone. This is not a joke situation. We had guests on and you keep calling, and now we're going to actually be sending this report to the police that you keep making harassing phone calls. Is this somebody's child? Don't worry, the police don't sort you out. Let's send them. And they keep calling. This is a ridiculous thing. Somebody says, great, we can call him now. I don't know what joker this is, but we'll forward this to the police. I tell you, some people are so immature. All righty, 936-2626 is the telephone number that you need to be calling. I know some of you do use my personal number to call, but again, don't call me if you're a time waster. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. The police will figure out who you are and what you're up to. 928-8826 seems to have a lot of time in their hands this morning. Go get yourself a job. Yes, that's what you need to do. All right, good people. Let's move on. Roberto says where they located the law firm. They are located right across from the courthouse. So Starbucks, that building, they're upstairs. Yes, Gareth, definitely they'll be blocked. Moya says, great show, Sandy. It was very informative. Yeah, we love to have these segments. Like I said, I know you guys are more appreciative of the sauce, but we like to have these segments where you can, learn something as well. Good morning, caller. Hello there. You're trying to get on the show? Okay, but you have to call. I'm actually live on the radio right now. So if you want to come on, 936-2626. No, 936-2626. Okay, thanks, dear. All right, folks, remember, we got a daily show from 7:30 to 10:30 every single day. I'm just saying, we can't be having a private conversation during the middle of a show. Okay. All right. There is a press conference this morning, by the way, which obviously we can't attend because we have a live show going on. So anyone who has a press conference before 10:30, we do have another person from the platform who is actually watching the press conference, and they'll do a story. But if you want any more coverage beyond that, just keep in mind that I can't split myself into two in terms of any of that sort of stuff. Okay. All right, folks, let me see what else we got going on here. Okay. Jonathan, are you talking about pools? Says, where does the nanny state mentality stop? There are bodies of water all over the place, and a pool is really just a cement pond. Not really, but there are ponds everywhere. There are canals. This is a coastline. There's a coastline. It's possible to drown in a puddle. Well, I mean, there's certain things that pools should do, and there are things that can happen in a pool, such as like the suction at the bottom of the pool not working properly well, that sucks a child down to the bottom. Pools are not just a cement pond. They are built and constructed and have pumps and have equipment, and those things can certainly be faulty and can cause they could be the cause of someone, including a child, drowning, and that's where the liability would come in. So it's not just a child who jumps into a pool and drowns. There could be other extenuating factors that actually cause that to be the case. That's why you get yourself a lawyer, because they think about and know all of these things. Trust me. It's very, very interesting, I must say, as someone who has, a law degree. I'm not a lawyer, to be very, very clear. But as someone who has a law degree, even just having that amount of legal training, you do see the world a little bit different. And so, there are things that maybe the average person doesn't ever think about, that when I'm in a situation, my legal brain starts to operate in a particular way up to a certain point, because I think really when you have people who are lawyers, they have a wealth of experience. So again, they will think even differently once again. So yeah. All right. Questions, comments, 936-2626. Miss Blondie is here. She said, Miss Darlene, since you touched the subject, your mama was a beautiful lady and her daughters are all beautiful. Lasting beauty is from within. Bethia's sister, Andrea Christian, won Miss Teen 1983, Cayman Islands, with the largest amount of contestants ever, 16. Bethia was officially the youngest Miss Cayman Islands when she was 17. Outside beauty may fade, but inward beauty may last forever. Very, very true. I think, unfortunately, pageant queens these days are so inundated and concerned about the outward beauty that they often forget about what's inside, both up here intellectually and, emotionally and stuff as well. All right, so we were talking about the guy who took off with the car. I did see somebody else sent me something in relation to this. Let me see. Okay, so somebody says his name is Travis, aka Joyride. Oh, what an appropriate name. Since he came out of prison, he's been going around stealing cars, and the police seems to not be doing anything about it because he's still free on the road. He was sitting down by City Walk this morning around 7:30 a.m. So this is the guy who stole the car? Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy. Unbelievable. I mean, the police seem incapable of really doing much of anything about loiterers and drug addicts on the street, but who are also breaking the law. So they sit back and they say, oh, we can't do anything until this person breaks the law. But when the person does break the law, they still seem incapable of doing very much about them. I guess they arrest them and just let them back out on the street. Remember, there was a guy recently who had a rap sheet of over like 100 charges over the years? It's like, how on earth do you have so many charges and you still manage to be free on the streets? It's the same thing with the guy who stole the woman's wallet. He's known to people in the Georgetown community as someone who's constantly stealing. I mean, he would steal baby Jesus off the cross if he could, right? And still continues to steal, continues to be a menace to society. And it really seems that, unfortunately, the police are incapable of actually doing anything of significance about these types of individuals. I mean, it's kind of shocking in a way, to be honest. Unbelievable. And then the rest of us have to be at their mercy, that, you can't even jump out. Listen, back in the day, my father used to leave his car running all the time. You can't do that anymore because here comes a thief. The second he heard that engine was on, you saw the look in his face. He's like, oh, joyride for real. And there he was, taking off. My goodness. Cow cod time. Such a sad and unbelievable situation. Leroy says, what a name. I guess they've given him that nickname for a reason, because he likes to joyride. Alejandro says, crime is an asset. So Damien says that City Walk is across the street where the accident happened. The police station is around the corner, all within walking distance of each other. Alejandro also says that people drink right behind the police station as well. I don't know. They claim that they're working on the broken window theory, where they are dealing with the smaller offenses in hopes of dealing with some of the bigger offenses. So let's talk about this elephant in the room, quite literally. I see someone sending me a photo here. Let's see. So in yesterday's news, that's a photo of the beer, the 6-pack on the wall of where the police station is. Littering doesn't exist, I guess, is what this says. Ay. So let's talk about the fact that in this little island, the RCIPS has managed to recover an AK-47. Anybody else concerned about this? Because it seems like we were not having a conversation on this. And I'm shocked that this, one almost speechless, incredibly shocked. Let's have a look at this, folks. This is some of what they recovered. AK-47, 9mm handgun, and the other ammunition that goes with those. So magazine clip, and they say bullets, and of course, also 100 pounds of ganja. Because again, the way in which these items come in, they're normally coming in on the drug boats that we see, on our little islands. What a hot mess. Not just the drugs they're bringing in, not just the weed they're bringing in all sorts of weapons. And look at this. Cayman Islands, one of the safest places in the world, supposedly, population of 70,000 people, people are bringing in this type of ammunition. What for is the real question. 936-2626, in case this is bothering anybody else other than me, do let me know. Alejandro says, what about the planes? I would say, Alejandro, not to say that people have not potentially smuggled stuff in by plane, but it is a lot harder to do so because you're going through multiple security checkpoints in order to bring stuff in. So it's not just Cayman security. Your stuff is scanned through the United States security as well. And there have been instances where people, remember the Leslie fellow there was hiding stuff in, in appliances, right? The U.S. authorities knew about that. They saw it and they decided they're not going to do anything about it because they have to wait to see who's going to receive it on the other end. And they're in this jurisdiction, not in their jurisdiction. So all they did was notified Cayman about it. Oh, by the way, when we scanned these items to make sure that they weren't going to be blowing up the boat or the plane or whatever that they're going on, we happened to find some real serious weaponry in there. You guys deal with it once that those items are cleared. And we've seen young women get caught up in this, where they are the girlfriends or friends of these hardcore criminals, and they've set up the girlfriend to go and clear the item, claiming that, they were buying these appliances for their house and blah, 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 and stash on the interior of those refrigerators and appliances were guns and ammunition. And then they always want to argue about, I didn't know. I was just receiving it for this person. Listen to me. If someone has you picking up goods for them and they can't give you a good logical reason why they can't go to customs and clear the goods themselves or have a broker clear it in their name and they're going to receive it, then I suggest you don't be stupid and be accepting anything on someone else's behalf, because you'll find yourself in a world of trouble where, you going to jail right along with them. What a mess. Quite shocking, to be honest. All right, Mr. Denny, your local gun club expert. Any thoughts on this sort of thing? Cameron says, I think it's the first time that an AK-47 has been recovered in Cayman. I don't know. We'd have to ask the RCIPS that question. But I know that there has been one used, some sort of a semi-automatic, used in that mass shooting that they had down by Vic's Bar. Remember where multiple people, was it 2 people that got killed? And so we know that at least some of these weapons are here on this island. I'm not sure that we have a good fix on the extent of this or how many there are, but one is one too many, I can tell you that. So my sources had revealed that this was found there in Georgetown, somewhere behind Archie's. I don't know if there's some residential areas or whatever back there. And that's where these were found. Wow. What a hot mess. Where's Archie's again? That's the one that's in the east. Is that what that area is? I don't even know where Archie's is. I hate to tell you. Well, actually, I don't hate to tell you. I'm glad to tell you that I don't go to any of these establishments. So I don't really know anything about it, honey chill. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy Dexter here.
Hi, Dexter.
You know, looking at these firearms and ammunition and the ganja, well, the ganja, everybody probably smokes that. But the guns is more serious right now than, you know, why are people not speaking out, not uplifting the police and the customs for doing their job? Everybody's ready to jump down in the customs or immigration or whatever, and they do not give any recognition to the people that say this could probably save many lives. You know, it's so sad that people if this was it had caught a gay person with a gun.
Oh yeah, they would have been up in arms about that.
Oh my God, every church member would have been talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, it is really sad, and people
the silence is deafening, as they say.
Yeah, you know, people have to give a credit where credit is, where they deserve. And I'm not saying that every police is a good police, because you're going to find a bad apple in every crate, and it could be even an orange. But really come down to giving them recognition for saving a life. When you look at those firearms, they are serious firearms. You're saving somebody's life, and that bothers me. I mean, why aren't more people speaking out about this? You know, it's really sad. You know, the mentality of some people, they want something to talk about. I talk about anybody, but when it comes down to something like serious like this, this is serious. An AK-47 was not manufactured to hunt animals. That was to kill people.
Yeah.
And then they talk about, it's my right to own a firearm. Sure, it's your right to own a firearm if you're an upright citizen. But you're not, because these were all the people that had them were criminals. And then they go to court, and they got some judge, the judge who is feels sorry for these criminals, because that's what it seems like. They never give them a full penalty of the law, and the authorities need to up the time that they go to jail. Make it tough for them.
Thank you, Mr. Dexter. Appreciate it.
All right, Sandy.
And the damage, folks, that an AK-47 does to the human body, or anything that it shoots at, is quite significant as well. You know, it goes through and rips through armor. So this is something that should be of grave concern. It's shocking. Again, I'm with Dexter on this. We need to thank the authorities. They said that they found it during one of their patrols, but we really need to thank them for making this discovery, because at least this is one that's off the streets of the Cayman Islands. So what they said is, just after 3:30 p.m. on Monday, September 4th, uniformed officers carrying out patrols on Shedden Road in the vicinity of Liberty Lane observed a man known to them who appeared to be behaving suspiciously. They approached the man, who fled on foot along Liberty Lane. The officers gave chase and came upon two other men behaving suspiciously outside of her residence, who then attempted to prevent the officers from proceeding onto the property. While speaking to the officers, these two men also fled the location on foot. The officers detected the strong scent of ganja on the property, so that's where they decided to then enter. And whilst making inquiries under the Misuse of Drugs Act, recovered a significant quantity of the drug. Assistance was requested from other police units, and a further search of the area was carried out with additional assistance from Customs and Border Control. From Customs, CBC. And a further quantity of ganja was recovered. That's 100 pounds of ganja in the end. 2 firearms, which were a 9mm handgun with a loaded extended magazine, and an AK-47 assault rifle and magazine. A large quantity of AK-47 ammunition was also recovered from the scene. So over 100 pounds of ganja, they say, 4 persons who were present at the location, including a 42-year-old man, a 39-year-old man, a 44-year-old man, and a 56-year-old woman, all of Georgetown, were arrested on suspicion of possession of an unlicensed firearm and have been granted bail while investigations continue. Wow. And you can rest assured, folks, that without a doubt, there are more guns out there in our streets. So kudos to the RCIPS, clearly demonstrating that patrols are necessary. And as it would turn out, they've now made the streets of the Cayman Islands a little bit safer with these guns being taken off of the streets. So folks, by all means, please, get it together. Crazy. Yeah. All right. Garrett says the right to bear arms is quoted from the American Constitution. This is a British territory, not an American territory. We have different rules about guns. We don't need to follow a country who's having trouble controlling their gun crime. Agree 1,000%. Cameron says no back patting and praise from me. RCAPS know everything that's going on around you. We need what? Egypt's Yana? What? Well, you know what? I'm gonna give them credit for getting these guns off the street. Garrett says these guns were smuggled in, I believe. Of course. I mean, nobody's bringing in an AK-47 legally. I'm pretty sure that you can't get a license for that. I don't even think the police have that kind of weaponry. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Edith says they are for drug traffickers. So the drug people are bringing in these weapons. Listen, all kind of criminals are bringing these in. And it's unfortunate because we see, was it last year or the year before, we had 2 mass shooting incidents on this little small island. Again, absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. Wow. All right, folks, 936. We're getting into just a few minutes left in the program, 936-2626. So hopefully on tomorrow's program, we can give you guys a bit of an update on where we are with things at Prospect Primary. We'll have a bit more of an idea. We've had parents, like I said, who are finally reaching out to us. We're just trying to collate the information and put it all together. No further official updates as yet on what's happening with the teacher. We don't know if she's actually been arrested. They took her away for questioning. She's obviously outside of the classroom as investigations continue. We don't know if statements have been taken or how long this process is anticipated to take. The unfortunate thing is that normally they don't tell us anything. We have to go digging for information and getting it from, behind the scenes and that sort of thing, which is quite unfortunate because the people would really, really like to know exactly what's going on. And there you have it. All right, congratulations to the University College of the Cayman Islands. They say that they are shattering enrollment records. So good for them. They have so far 1,350 students already signed up for fall 2023, with an expected additional persons pushing it up to 1,500 students, which would be a record for them. So this is good. I really hope that this means that, our people are taking educational opportunities seriously. Having said that, I was also disappointed to see yesterday that I had received footage. I think it was yesterday or the day before that I had received footage of, students on UCCI campus fighting. There was a group fight of some sort that actually erupted. Wow. What a mess. I don't know what to say. You're there for your education, folks. Please get it together. Get your life together. So disappointed to hear that. So someone says, what happens to the guns when police get them? Do they destroy them after testing them? Well, I think they have to maintain them until the court case, in case anything comes up that has to be forensically done. But to the best of my knowledge, they are dismantled and destroyed. Okay. So this person says Archie's is across Funky Tangs or CN bar in a bar and restaurant. The Archie's is somewhere in the back, right? Well, that's the east. Yeah. They say lots of stuff be going down in there, honey chill, going on down them parts. What a hot tamale. Making all Georgetowners look bad. Ms. Vernita says, thank you, officers. Garrett says, I hear high school students fight often, but UCCI, that's news to me. Yeah, I mean, it's so disappointing. It's so childish. Oh, good Lord. Folks, have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.